You guys, welcome.
Whoa.
Welcome,
My
Megan.
Hello. I should open
Megan
up chat.
Lenny is.
Who's that? I've never
Is that
heard of
you?
her before.
That
Nope.
guys, this is Megan Lennius.
That her. That
She's
her.
happened to be in my
Not.
Discord, and so I was like, I don't know, fuck it, I guess.
I guess we could roll
Um,
today.
No, she's an she is like talent
Bananas
condensed into a
talented.
human.
And
Is that it? Yeah,
gorgeous.
she's like purified, like if music and talent was a drug, she'd be like the most concentrated dosage. She'd be
500
the
milligrams. Anybody have
an
nursing
injection
or
of talent.
pharmacy?
She's like the heroine of talent.
Nice.
If you guys don't know who she is, though, for real, she's a singer, songwriter. What else would you tag on to that?
Streamer.
Queer.
Musician.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
She's everything under the sun. And we're really happy to have her on the show. She is a certified genius when it comes to singing technique, to music
And then
technology.
literally tech, right? Technique to tech.
Technique to technology, all the techs, all the tea. She's gonna give us the tea. She's gonna drip feed me tea from a dropper like a baby deer.
Like this. This is my T
Wow.
symbol.
Yeah.
I did not sign up for any of this. I think I have to go, guys.
That's what all my dates say. So, so we're gonna be here talking to her about, like, with Twitch things especially dying and getting
Yeah.
murdered, in cold blood. We
By the
figure why not
business people.
get why not get one of the most prolific music streamers on the platform to give us some insight on, you know, that world, because like, inevitably, you know, a lot of Twitch things people are going to be hopefully transitioning into that world. A lot of talented people out there, a lot of talented instrumentalists and singers. So what are your thoughts, Megan, by the way, about things dying? Was this something you saw coming? I know that you kind of are plugged in to this, to like the underbelly of the MAPPA, which is now just
Music.
music. Is this something you kind of felt what might have been coming along?
I mean, I don't know if I expected it to happen. Ty, is your stream supposed to
I
say
just
starting soon?
transitioned it. Yeah, for some
I'm
reason it didn't work the first time I hit it. Mobby!
Staring at it, being like, why is it on this? I don't know what's happening.
Stream was
I don't
starting,
know if
Megan.
I don't
Oh,
know if
no.
I expected it.
Yeah.
And once it happened, it didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Because there was such an influx in the music category, and that was I think what their intention was with Twitch Sings anyways.
Yeah.
And it costs a lot of money to hold up those licensing. And so I'm sure they were like, hey, now we have the people that we want to in the music category, and the Twitch Sings category isn't as, you know, as isn't
Robust.
growing as much, and look how much money we have to spend to keep these licensing together.
Sure.
Let's instead take that money and put it towards maybe coming up with a DMCA system for cover musicians, because
Right.
essentially what you are
Yeah.
when you're
Exactly.
playing on Twitch. So it's or you're not a cover musician, but you're playing a lot of covers.
Along that line, yeah.
Sure.
Yes. So it is
Absolutely.
so it's definitely, it didn't surprise me, like from a business side of things. It made sense. It definitely sucked, but I think this also is a testament to, like, so many people have preached it, but you have to diversify your content, and you have
Yeah.
to be able to, like, change with the tides, you know.
Yeah. That's something we've been harping on for a while now, since the announcement, is that for like regardless of it getting shut down, diversifying, you have to on this platform. If your goal
Anything
is
can
to
happen.
yeah,
Mhm.
and anything can happen. But even if it doesn't, like, if you are expecting a level of growth, and then you have to do that, even if, you know, things wasn't going away. So I think as too many people's chagrin, it was at least the kind of slowdown of the platform was going to happen inevitably. Like the Twitch Sings platform was going to happen, especially with, you know, resources from Twitch being diverted. It's not a coincidence that the same like week it got shut, like the announcement of it getting shut down happened when that Amazon Music got like integrated with
Right.
Twitch music, that clearly
Yeah.
their resources were being transitioned in that direction. So the things
Mhm.
on the fringe were gonna be cut loose, and so that's like that happens all the time. Like platforms shift and change. I mean, like even something on a grand scale like Netflix transitioned from a mail-in disc service to digital streaming. Like
Yeah.
whole companies can shift and change, and so like I think Twitch is going that direction. Like being these hubs for music. I mean, the fact that it literally says like browse music esports at the top shows what their goal is to like
Yeah.
funnel this stuff into something a little bit more manageable to the masses and not just like the
Right.
the gamers.
Well,
So,
there's so much to offer on Twitch now. We have cooking. I didn't even know there was cooking and crafting and all that other stuff. You know, and the IRL stuff. So you kind of have to parse it out and make it more consumable in that way. And that starts on the
Yeah.
homepage.
I think a lot of it came in to play when in 2019, 2018, there started to be like legitimate competitors to Twitch. And so
Right.
Twitch had to look at their platform, and I mean, Twitch already knows how to be the best platform at streaming video games. They don't really have to do much. Like they can keep changing things and just like doing things that compete with other gaming categories, but when it comes to getting a name in the game, they don't have to do that. They're already ahead of all those categories.
yep.
So Twitch had to look at their company and say, what are these other places that make us stand out from all of these other streaming platforms? And music was an easy thing, I think, from the beginning. We had a lot of the music community in, I mean, even when I started streaming almost 4 years ago now.
Wow.
And that was it's gonna be 4 years end of February.
Mhm.
So I like even a year after, within like the year of me streaming, we had a handful of Twitch staff that were on our side and were really pushing for the music category within the within the company. And I feel like that's snowballed into now they're at this place where they have to think, how do we make our platform different? What's something that's going to make our platform stand out from YouTube and the D Lives and Mixer and all of these other
Right.
things?
Mhm.
And music is an easy thing for them to focus on. And then when quarantine hit and music, it was something like, I heard it from a thing that I did through Twitch, and the number was something like it grew by like 300 and some percent of
Sure.
viewership over
When quarantine hit?
Yeah.
when quarantine hit. I wonder if I can find the numbers, because it was
Yeah.
insane. Can I swear?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh my god. That's like
I
you can probably count.
Yes.
It's when we don't swear is when there's something wrong.
It's like we've arrived at the wrong podcast.
Yeah, it's something fucking crazy like that. And they so once that happened, it like incentivized them even more
Mm-hmm.
to continue doing that. Okay, here, what is it? I think it's in here. Did I find it? Maybe not. I don't know. I'll
Well,
find
like
it.
the artists couldn't go on tour. The major guys,
yeah.
and they were being reached out to by these platforms for what was that, Stream Aid that they did maybe a couple weeks after
Yeah.
everything hit. And so you had Dave Matthews Band and all these
Yeah,
other.
that was that was really smart for them to do.
Yeah.
Like, it was. I'm glad that they added Twitch musicians in,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that definitely helped like show, hey, there's other people on the platform. If they didn't do that, I'd say it was kind of stupid. But just in general, from like a business perspective, them like reaching out to all those artists and being like,
Absolutely.
hey, this is our platform and this is what it's kind of like. Like, you get a 20-minute like sneak into what live streaming could be like. I bet
Right.
that like got a lot of those artists interested.
And I don't know when T-Pain started streaming officially, or if I was just late to the game, but he's been kind of into the gaming, and I'm surprised he hasn't done any music. I don't know if he's contractually obligated to not play music on stream. I don't know.
No, he plays
Okay.
music. He just
He does.
does.
Okay. I just haven't
make-
caught it.
I think he
Have you
makes a
seen-
lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he
Oh, yeah,
makes
it
it
grew-
live.
So
Oh,
music grew
that's awesome.
359% since
Wow.
Shelter in Place took place.
crazy.
It went from 38,595 hours watched to 176,984. Or sorry,
Wow.
176,984.
Mm.
So it went from 40,000 to like 175, 180,000.
Do you think that Twitch, like, do you think things have like evolved? Their expansion of that evolved rapidly once they, like, there was like mega capitalization on what was happening. Like, you know, that growth obviously did that hit, and then they were like, we gotta put that link at the top. Like, we gotta have it say music. We gotta separate music from the map. Like, these are things we have to do because of this massive growth. Like, would you think they pivoted like kind of in sync with it, or was it like long-term goals to do this anyways and the opportunity just kind of struck at the right time?
I feel like they had it all planned out. Like they were already, these were all of their ideas that they were trying to pitch, and they just didn't have the backing to. And then when Shelter in Place hit, all of these viewers came in, and it was easy incentive. That's what my guess would be. I also don't know what it's like internally. I definitely think that they weren't expecting it. Like, that's what it was. They really were not expecting any of it. And from the people that I've met in Twitch music, or in Twitch that work for like the music category, they really want music to succeed. So I'm sure a lot of these ideas were like big ideas that they wanted to have happen. But again, they just didn't have the viewership to. They didn't have
They couldn't
names on the
justify.
platform. Yeah.
Sure.
So what you're
It
telling me is that Amazon invented coronavirus for the sole purpose of
don't be one of
expanding
those.
music.
Don't be one of those. God damn it, Ty.
But I do think that if we want to get deep, bruh, I
Deep
do think
internet.
that in every like really horrible situation, there's always a positive in some sort.
Right,
And
right.
Yeah.
like, a perfect
Silver
parallel
linings.
about how it's like, it's about how that's like a thing that grew from it. Like Twitch music
Yeah.
benefited insanely
Absolutely.
from it, and we're gonna see the outcome of that now for forever. Like that's gonna now
Yeah.
spiral for forever.
Yeah.
And
Things
I-
have changed forever. Yeah.
so
And yeah, like, I mean, and it was gonna happen anyways. The way the world, it was slowly approaching, it just got sped up. The idea of telecommuting, working from home, streaming services, like, there's no reason to go to the movie theaters anymore anyways. There's no reason why you need to go to, like, let's say if you didn't want to go to sporting events, you didn't want to go to the movie theaters, you didn't want to hell, you don't even have to go to like the theater to go see a Broadway play. Obviously, you can watch that on TV now. You can watch your
mean,
favorite
going to a
musicians on
concert
streams.
is-
like,
going to a concert is basically watching somebody on a screen anyways.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
can see them.
and-
You get
yeah.
a better view on, sitting at home
Like, unless
watching them
you
on a
have-
screen.
right?
A bunch of money to spend on a concert ticket. It's
On like a
not
floor
worth it.
seat country
Yeah,
right.
And even the floor
concert
seats
ticket, yeah.
are only good. Me and my mom went to a Pink concert. It was amazing. It was a great time. It was really cool because she does the like stuff where she flies around in the ceiling. So
Right.
it was more worth it. But it was definitely like, this kind of sucks when you're like towards the back of the floor seats. Like
Sure.
you can't really see anything. And it was and the view was very much like, yo, this was not, if we didn't get a good deal on them, it would not have been worth it.
Mm-mm. But there's something
Um,
to be said about the energy of the room, which
Yeah,
is
yeah, like,
only
that's the
if I were to
counter
pose a complaint about this way of performing, it takes that much more energy. I don't know if you feel that way, Megan, when you're doing your music streams. It's like that much more exhausting because you're feeding in and feeding and feeding and feeding.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a different kind. It'll be interesting to see what like the future of it is, because I feel like, I don't know if things continue to be cut down in capacity, and people, I feel like this quarantine has made a lot of people introverts, like just like scared.
Yes. Oh my
moving.
god, I've been thinking a lot about that.
Yeah.
Right, and just like so okay with just staying indoors and being like, yeah, no, like I'm okay with just watching it online. Like, I don't really care. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I feel like concerts, if they get like cut into half capacity, I would spend extra money to go to like an intimate concert with my favorite artist, where it's
Sure.
you know, instead of a 40,000 seated room, I'm spending maybe a couple $100, but it's only 1,000 people, and you have like your
Yeah.
own area. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's like,
It's
like,
they
that
have a
would be
venue like
really
that here in DC, the Anthem, where it's
Yeah.
much smaller, and people prefer
Mhm.
that.
Do you know those
Yeah.
those movie theaters where they like you get your recliner and it's like really bougie and
Ah,
Yeah.
it's like what if
yes.
they had that for music instead of like a like recliner they just have like a divided section. There's like metal bars around you and you have like a 6x6 like a 6 diameter
think
wide
they should
circle
just-
you can just
Yeah.
dance in. Like, that's
Yeah,
your
perfect,
circle.
Perfect. They should just do like the circle booths and just like section those
Mm.
off, and that should be everyone's seat. And so you can just split that. You can just buy a table on your own. That'd be a sick concert. And then because it's like it really is, if you're in the nosebleeds, it's like, yeah, it's cool to like go, but I'm not really seeing the artist. I want to like
Right.
see the artist perform. Like I don't want to watch them on a monitor and hear it 8 seconds after it happened because I didn't want to spend $1,000 on a seat. You know?
Oh god, yeah.
Really,
And
yeah.
especially with like cuz none of that money is like who's even making that money, right? That's not even the artist. That's just like whatever like the company that
Well,
sets
it's
up
the
those
venue,
concerts.
like-
the management, the
Like
all,
artists aren't seeing that
everybody,
money.
you know.
So fuck that.
Everyone.
And plus, like
Yeah.
StubHub and Ticketmaster, you know, you get like $100 ticket, but then there's like you get the digital
the
printout,
finder
but it's
fee.
like handling charge. We're gonna email it to you, but there's a
$69.
$75 like handling charge. I'm like, fuck you, Ticketmaster.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, Ticketmaster sponsor us. No, just kidding. Don't sponsor us. Actually, do, and then we'll shit on your product.
Mhm. And that's how.
But what was I gonna say? So yeah, like the more intimate I like the intimacy and so I've been thinking a lot about this whole conversion to introverts concept because I swear that's exactly what happened to me. Like I was thinking I hate how like I had, you know, for the first time ever, like this is not something I do often, but I had a cleaning person come today to help me just because I now have he's sleeping right there, my dog, and he sheds like crazy. And I was like, I vacuum and I do all this stuff, but I just figured once a month I'll have somebody come and do a full clean. And she came today, and even just her being in my apartment, staying out of my way, I was like really anxious, just having one person near me. And it's
Yeah.
like getting really bad, and it makes me feel like
You're almost
I'm
like
like,
giving
it-
into it, you know?
yeah, I'm
because
totally
it's-
giving into it.
It's
And
like
I'm
Stockholm
like,
syndrome. You know what I mean? Like,
and I go to walk Rampage, and like I see other people with dogs, and I was like, I know they're gonna want to talk and get near me and like hang out, which is like totally normal and really sweet. But I'm like, should I cross the street? Yesterday I faked a phone call with my grandma. Actually, it was supposed to be a real call. I called her. She just didn't pick up for the first time ever. She didn't pick up, and I was like, all right, I gotta pretend. So I was talking to nothing. I was holding my phone up, and then I found out that the guy followed me. So I hung up the phone and talked to this guy. Anyways, I think I'm converting to an introvert that's good at faking extrovert
Yeah.
tendencies. Like
Mhm.
I'm outgoing enough, and I know how to like put on a show, and that I can like, if I have
I'd
to
do that.
be entertaining, I can.
Yeah, I'm like an extrovert depending on the circumstance.
it depends on my level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
And if I've been around a bunch of people for like the day, or if I was around my kid for the day, I didn't start going to movies alone until after I had a child. And then I'm like, I need to be alone. So it's always like this. What do you call that when the body puts yourself back into regulation? Ty, you're the biology major. Help me out. I'm gonna look it up now.
I don't know, rebalance. I don't say it
Some-
again. What happened to your body? Menopause.
That's
I swear
what
I
it is.
took. No, but anyway, it depends on like
I'm
what
just
the
kidding.
circumstances are. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But sometimes I just like I need to hide under the like when
Yeah.
Luke would take naps, I would like put myself in sensory deprivation and put like Law and Order
Oh,
on
yeah.
or something and put the blankets over my head. I'm like, don't come near me. Don't for an hour. We're
Yeah. It's
I
like
used, I used to do that after streams when I first started. When I would do
Really?
like, when it was common for me to do like 8-hour music streams,
Oh my
and I would do
Jesus
like
Christ.
when I started. I can't believe I fucking did that because now I can barely get through like 2.5-hour music streams.
I feel you. I feel you.
But I used to do when I first started. I would do. Let's see. I did 100 days straight, and on average, those streams were probably 4 to 6 hours, and like at least once a week they were 8 hours. It was like, and it was every single day. It was. I have absolutely no clue how I did it.
Did you see it pay off? Like,
Oh, yeah.
did the growth match? Okay.
Oh yeah, this was back when I first started. Nobody was streaming every day, and
Right.
there was because no one was streaming every day, and everyone had the like, oh, I can't do it. And at that time, I could do it. I was finishing like playing in cover bands and singing in
How old
front of
were
a
you?
band for 4
at that time?
hours.
Am I allowed to ask that?
Um,
You were young. You're.
Yeah, I was
You don't
20,
have to if you don't.
21?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
19 maybe, somewhere around
Okay.
there. But around that time, I was singing in cover bands all the time, so I could.
Yeah.
And singing in front of a band for 4 hours straight is way more energy than singing a music stream for 6 hours straight.
Right.
So, I could do it. I can't do it anymore. But at the
The
time,
stamina,
it
yeah.
definitely like got a lot of people's attention because no one was doing it, and everyone was like, "I can't. My voice can't handle that." And I was like, "Y'all are bitches. I can do this shit."
It really depends on what you're doing.
I
Like,
could never, would
I mean,
never,
I see
should
the
never.
the opera singers, like my friend Carl Tanner. He sings the really heavy stuff, the Verdi rep and all that, and those are 5-hour operas, man. But then they don't sing multiple times a week. They shut it down for
Yeah.
a few days.
That was
Right.
I didn't realize it until my vocal coach a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. This was when I was still doing 4-hour music streams 5 days a week. And she was put it into perspective. She was like, that is the same amount as a Broadway singer, except a Broadway singer is on vocal rest on the 2 days in between.
Right.
You still talk and work in between. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you're right.
You rat. You rat.
You're right.
Yo, you should have seen my vocal coach's face when I told him that, like, the stream, like the hours I was streaming. He's like, what the fuck are you doing to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well, I mean, I can tell now. I definitely cannot sing the way that I could even like a year ago. I can't, and I have to cut down streams a lot.
Yeah.
And at some point I'll probably take like a 2-week break where I just I literally do not talk for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Muzzle.
Quarantine myself.
Well, you hear about, like, Sam Smith said he took 6 weeks off because he popped a capillary in his vocal folds, and he said it was, like, so difficult. It is so difficult
Yeah.
for a singer to stop singing or stop talking because,
Yeah. Especially because it's not, like when it crosses, like when there's that overlap of like a passion with a
Right.
job, like
The fill
something
in
you
the
would
bucket.
do even for free, and then you get paid to do it. Like you'll go forever.
Yeah.
You know, and like so you have to stop yourself at some point. Yeah. Like it could be really difficult. And my vocal coach was not happy with me when I told him that. I was like, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And you can't stop. And then but I can't. I've had to cut down my streams a significant amount. Just I don't know, just because like I can't. I also feel like emotionally I don't have that stamina anymore. I feel like I feel like after a certain, I don't know why.
The
maybe that's a
novelty
bad- maybe
wears
that's
off a
bad thing.
bit. You're, like, super
Maybe it is
excited
that,
about
yeah.
it, you know? It's like that
When
way
you
with
first
anything.
start,
Yeah, my
Yeah.
teacher, she just said, well, monitor yourself. Like, obviously you're really happy doing this, but you know, just remember the opera singers. They can't. They shut it down, and they're not even singing all the time when they're on stage. And you're 100% responsible for this. You know,
Yeah.
you're talking, you're singing. Whereas you're in an ensemble when you're in a musical theater production, or you know, even with a band too, I suppose. But she said, you know, if you're getting exhausted, make that adjustment. Make
My speaking of opera, Rampage,
Oh.
he doesn't mind when I sing at all. Like it doesn't bother him,
Does he
except when I
sing
sing
with you?
opera.
Does he sing
Really?
with
No,
you?
he doesn't. He won't sing with me. Like he
Aw.
will. He talks for everything else, but he won't like howl when I'm singing.
How old
I've
is he?
tried. He's
How
1
old is
year,
he?
7 months.
Oh, he's
Aw.
still like puppy.
Yeah, he's still a
mode,
little
you know?
baby puppy. Look at him taking a little puppy nap.
He's
He
like,
did so
life
good
is
today.
hard.
Yeah.
Life is so hard.
I
Will he get bigger?
Look at him. Like he's gonna fill out a little bit. He'll get a little bit more like muscle and
Yeah.
but yeah. So because he's still a little, and he was slightly underfed when I adopted him. So I found out like you know I took him to the vet today, and he did so good. He got 2 vaccinations, and so he's a brave boy. And he they weighed him again, and he gained 1.5 pounds, which was really nice. So he's getting healthier every day, my little baby. But he doesn't like when I sing opera, and like
Oh,
literally,
does he
and I
run
found
away?
this out.
What does he do?
What's that? No, he like literally will like try and lick my mouth just to like shut me up.
Oh
Like
my
he'll
God.
start giving me kisses. He's like, shut up. He's like, if I kiss you, if I show you love, will you shut the fuck up?
Okay,
you know
do
what song did it?
I wanna
Like,
see.
I don't know.
wanna see
Well,
if
he's
it'll-
having. I don't know. I'm
Yes,
really
see if
afraid.
it'll wake him up. Do it.
My first voice teacher, she had a Shih Tzu, and she's like, you
I'm
have
gonna
to make
bully
that
you.
dog howl
You want me to do it?
when you're
I
singing
don't
in
mean
the
I'm not an opera
formants.
singer. It's my form of opera, which is just kind of fake opera.
But
Don't worry about
some dogs react to the physics of it. Because if a
He's looking at me like he's not
like-
gonna do it. Everybody.
he's like, fuck you, I'm trying to
Dude,
sleep.
he's so tired.
Dad.
He like followed the cleaning lady around all day, and then we went on like a bunch of walks, and then we went to the vet. He is full on dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
That
he's
was-
now he's
Didn't
licking
take
himself.
off, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
But like literally, I was sitting on the ground singing because I've been practicing.
Practicing
do
on your
it. I
back
can't
is
do
a
it.
really good idea, by the
Yeah,
way.
like, I love
to
laying on the
check
floor
your
and singing.
alignment.
He so you know the I forget what it's called, but it's that like really famous, really hard operatic like riff.
Which one?
Shit. That the I gotta think of it now. Literally, I can't believe this. It's been stuck in my head until this very second.
I could think of some really difficult shit that people have done.
what's okay, but what's like the really popular one
The Queen of the Night.
Yeah, that one. I love practicing that just because it's really hard and I'm not good at it, but it's and
In
I was sitting on
octave,
the
sir?
ground at like midnight. What?
In that
Oh no,
same
no,
octave?
God, no. Yeah, in that octave. Yep, actually higher than that. I actually took it up another octave because it was easy.
Fuck. Oh my
Um,
God.
no, I like took it down the octave, which is even harder. Like because it just doesn't work. But anyways, he hates. So maybe it's just that. Maybe it's me just singing that because I was sitting on the floor and he was not having any of it. Then again, it was like 11ish midnight. Like I think he just wanted to go to bed.
He's like,
He's
fuck right
shut
off
up.
with that.
he's like, you can shut you can shut up right now.
Shut up right now. Megan, are you into opera at all? Musical theater?
I had some friends in high school who were in the Minnesota Opera.
Oh yeah, it's a big
Oh.
house.
Yeah, but I wasn't. Let's put it this way. My choir teacher, who is an opera, who also is at the Minnesota Opera, she didn't like me because I didn't want to sing like a classical singer.
Interesting.
And so it was like my friends were like fed into it and would like be classically trained, and I was like, nah, I don't need to fucking be classically trained to sing in a rock band. So
or
she
in a
didn't like.
choir either.
Yeah, she also didn't like she didn't put me in anything in the choir, probably because I sang like a rock singer instead of like a choral singer. But it was pretty
Same-
stupid because I could still sing better than a lot of the people.
Yeah, and then how it works. Same thing happened to me, except they wouldn't put me in the choir because I just freestyle rapped constantly.
Oh, really?
No,
What the
no.
fuck, Ty?
I'm so upset that they didn't put you in.
The Hamilton review.
I've been wanting to write a rap just to see if I could recently. The Hamilton review. Because I hear these like really sick. Have you seen those TikToks of like the fake Nicki Minaj raps and shit?
You have
No.
what are you using? Ableton?
Yeah, I have Ableton.
Yeah, you can Ableton loop. Ableton looping
Yeah.
is supposed to be really easy.
I
Well,
need.
that's a pro tip from Megan
I've done
Linnaeus.
it. Yes, that's actually the thing. What a great segue. So yeah, the looping in Ableton is actually it's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Dude,
And I love the system because you can record, you can layer
Yeah.
per track like that, and then just like delete, like
Well, I
you can
feel like-
literally record all of like 4 minutes of that loop, and then delete the parts you don't want.
Yeah.
For like the transition between verses and the bridge and.
well, I see two
all that
kinds
shit.
of like music streams. Just, I mean, just from checking it out over the past year, and then more especially since the announcement. I see people who are really good at looping, and then I see more people doing like a live acoustic cover, a live piano cover. So that is an important thing to figure out about yourself. Like a Tyler Lebs will like put the drum track in, will put this track in, and he's got one of the Boss Man, the 3-track loop pedal.
The Boss 300.
Yeah, that one.
RC 300. Yeah.
So that's a really important question to ask yourself. Do I want something a little more intimate? What do you think is more your style, Megan? I really only ever see you do stuff on guitar.
I mean, I think I started. I don't want to say I started the loop station. I don't think it was. I definitely, when I started streaming, I started learning on a loop station.
Okay.
If I started streaming now, I don't think I would do either. I think I would try and do something completely different than
Mm.
everybody. The only reason I keep a loop station is because looping, it's really easy to be bad at it.
That's my whole MO.
And so there's a lot
I'm really
of
good at being
people-
bad at a lot of things.
There's so it's like looping is one of those things where it's really easy to make stuff sound like okay. Like it's
Sure.
if you're just like a decent musician, you can just make something sound like pretty good.
Right.
But to be good at looping, it's like it's really hard to do that properly.
right.
That's why, like, that's what, like, if you ever watch Ed Sheeran, like, one of my favorite things is his You Need Me, and then he goes into like
Oh yeah.
a bunch of different songs, and he does some crazy where he does like a there's a song, what is it, he talks about like smoking marijuana in it. It's like a complete, like, it's like a, I don't know what song it is, but he goes into a bunch of different ones. It's like a 9-minute cover, and the stuff that he does with a 2-track loop station is worlds better than anybody that loops on Twitch. And it just kind of it does, like, it's the same thing with like Mark Riblet. It's like Ribley or whatever.
Oh my god, I fucking love
Like,
him.
It's like he does all of his stuff. He has the same sort of formula for most of his stuff, and he has the same sort
Okay.
of tricks or whatever else, but he's really, really good at all of that. And he has a really good ear on building songs and being able to build those loops.
What
And
a
so it's really-
genius he is.
Yeah,
Like, to
he-
find that
he
niche.
really is. And
If you guys don't
so-
know who I'm talking about, let me Rebele, I think is I typed his name in my chat, something like that. He does loops. He started out putting I think he's just doing it on YouTube still. But he makes like absurd loops. Like they're good music, but it's always like memeable. Like it's always crazy and memey and it's great. Like
If you
it's
think
really
about,
technically
it's about
well
being
done.
remembered. Like Billie
Yeah,
Eilish, her
he's-
most
and he-
memorable song is that dumb fucking song I hate, "Come at Me." Bad Guy, I fucking hate that song. But I love the
Yeah.
rest of her music, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I wish I was not introduced to her based on Bad Guy, but it's so memey, do 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 do,
Mhm.
and that pisses
And
me
like-
off. Like,
Yeah.
And
No, I don't
Rib-
know. I think that it's looping, like I said, yeah, it's definitely there aren't a lot of people that are really good at looping on Twitch, and so I think it's something that somebody said, I don't know where it was, but somebody said that looping can turn into a party trick really quickly. And
Sure
it
can.
can. Like, it's just, you kind of learn how to do it, and once you learn how to do it, that's what it is. So I don't know. It's definitely
Like, can it be easy to fall into being a one-trick pony? You know,
Yeah,
that like
it
you just
definitely-
keep stick to the basics and
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
just find 100 different ways to do the same thing.
basically.
Essentially,
Yeah.
is that would you say that's a bad thing? Like in terms of like, or like would you say that that's just a fake
When
way
it-
of kind of putting out
when it
stuff?
comes to a content perspective, like, you have to be able to constantly change, and be
Right.
able to get better. And so if you become like, looping is really easy to just become stagnant. It's like you just learn what the formula is and how you like building stuff, and the guitar lick that you like to use over everything, and the
Right.
piano thing that you like to do, and you add this thing here, and you know how it all works. And then there isn't really, it's like once you get to that place, you don't continue to challenge yourself to be better because you don't really know how to be better. Or it's
Mm.
like, I don't need to
It's
necessarily.
a crutch. It's a crutch.
Yeah, and then it's like, but your viewers also get that because you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Sure.
And so then your content is also becoming stagnant in a way. So it's the fact that you have to constantly get better. You also have to kind of, I remember somebody when I was my first person that ever gave me what was it? He was like an artist, not management, but mentorship or some bullshit like that. I don't know. He just taught me a bunch of shit. He was a producer in the industry. And one of the things he said is that I would constantly compare myself to all of my peers. And he was like, yo, that's not your competition. You got to compare yourself to, Katy Perry. Like, you have to compare yourself to Ed Sheeran. You have to compare yourself to Mark, Riblet. Like, that's what you have to be as good as.
Interesting.
And so it's like, if you're consistently looking at, okay, I just have to be better than the best looper on Twitch, then you're only going to be as good as the best looper on Twitch.
Hmm.
It's kind of like that,
So setting the bar way high.
aim for the stars, and if you land, what's the fucking saying?
Aim for the
If you aim for the
moon.
stars, if you land on my ass, you end
You'll-
up.
Aim for
among
the
the
Milky
stars
Way.
in a
Either way, you'll
relationship with
land in
me.
the stars.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Aim farther, and then if you fall short, you still fall somewhere wonderful. Like,
Yeah.
that's the idea. So that's a good idea. We've been harping on this a lot. Like, for a lot of people whose streams are struggling, or they're unsure, if they've relied on Twitch things for so long and they're unsure what direction to go in, think about your ultimate goal. What was even if Twitch things wasn't going away, what was your ultimate goal as a streamer? If it was just like, fun hobby, you play games and Twitch, sings was there and you love singing and it's inconsequential, great. But if your goal was to be a Twitch, grow enough in Twitch sings to be able to be a professional streamer, that was unrealistic whether it was going away or not. I mean, you couldn't make enough money, and it had a ceiling. Even it was just gonna always have
Even
a ceiling.
Twitch
It was
has
never gonna
a
be.
ceiling, if you think about
Even
it.
Twitch has a ceiling. So
Big mistake in general to look at
yeah.
I'm gonna have a career on Twitch. I think
agree.
it's really dangerous to do that. I think it's a much healthier thing to look at Twitch as a tool, to
Exactly.
use to build your company, which is yourself. Like, you're building
Yes.
your brand. You're making money off of selling yourself, essentially.
Absolutely.
What streaming is. So you need to stop looking at it as, hey, I'm going to be a professional Twitch streamer, and instead I'm going to make a business off of content. Like, I'm a content creator. How do I make the best content?
Mhm.
Have you seen? Have you watched The Office, Megan? I probably asked you this.
No.
So there's this episode. It's towards the end of the show. So one of the characters, Andy Bernard, he decides to quit his job. This isn't. If the show's been out forever, if it's a spoiler, fuck you guys, I don't care.
Statute
And
of
he goes to
limitations gone.
quit the office. He goes to quit the office, and he's like, I'm going to be pursuing. He's like, goes to his boss, and he's like, he knew he had been acting and going on auditions and using like company resources to get to them, and he's like about to fire him, and he's like, let me stop you right there, I need to quit to pursue my passion to be famous. And he's like, I hope you have a wonderful acting career. And he's like, well, I'm not, limiting myself to just acting, I'm searching fame of any kind. And it's like that with Twitch. Like,
Yeah.
if you're seeking to be popular on Twitch, you can't just like will it to be, like,
Oh.
if you look at it, like the one thing everybody has in common, like at least from an artistic standpoint, like you put out music because you want to be a musician, or you are a musician, and you perform. Like the Twitch was inconsequential in the grand scheme of you becoming a successful musician. That is enough of an umbrella goal to like, all encompass all the social medias, everything it's like, it's another notch in like another tool in the belt that you have to get your product out to the world, to get your music out there, because you have it all too. I mean, you got a successful Twitter, Instagram, all of that it has all the different outreach. Just, that's just another one of them. So for people who's like set their sights on, just succeeding exclusively on Twitch because they just love the idea of a streaming lifestyle,
Yeah.
is never ever gonna work.
You have to be fully aware of the weaknesses of each platform and
Mhm.
leverage appropriately, because I mean, you can't, like, YouTube doesn't pay enough and Twitch is not discoverable enough. So
Mhm.
do you make those two things work together, and how? And then
Yeah.
Twitter, really hard to get we were talking about that, like, to get audience from Twitter over to your Twitch as far as that discoverability goes. It's almost impossible because it's not really a video
Yeah.
format. It's a format of words.
Uh-huh.
So it's really, really tricky.
That's where it's like you have to look at it all as a whole. And it's
Mhm.
also, it's definitely, I mean, I don't know, like I think about growing up, and I was such a YouTube kid growing up, and I remember like some of my favorite YouTubers are like OG YouTubers that were there in 2007.
Right.
And and so I feel like a lot of the times I can compare where Twitch is at to like old school YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons that I like jumped ship so quickly from my other things in life and was like, nah, I'm just gonna go all in on this Twitch streaming thing. And so I think that but all of those people, if you look at those OG YouTubers, the ones that are the most successful now are the ones that they don't make money strictly off of YouTube. They
Right.
created a brand. They created a company out of their name. They have merchandise. They have a Twitch stream. They have a Twitter. They have an Instagram. They have, all of these other things that they're doing, where they have a bunch of friends that they do this thing with, and they have all of these different projects out, or they have all of these different things in the works, because it's kind of that, like, if you keep doing stuff, something is bound to happen. Like something is bound to
eventually
work.
stick.
Yeah, like if you keep just changing and you keep putting a bunch of stuff out there, like eventually something's gonna happen.
Right. I feel that.
So then-
I feel that way about my
Mhm.
job hunt right now. Like, just keep
Yeah.
filling
Right.
out job applications.
Yeah, and eventually something will stick.
Yeah. Okay, so then that leads me to, and this will be really hard to answer, and if you don't want to, it's okay. I'll just judge, it'll just affect my relationship with you.
Yeah, that's
Won't be friends
No.
anymore.
So okay, so let's say you're starting fresh, right? And it would be, starting fresh right now on Twitch would be really fucking difficult. It'd be different. But let's say you did, and you you kind of alluded to it earlier, and you got musicians who are doing loops, who are producing live, who are doing everything under the sun. Let's assume everything's being done. What would where's your blue ocean? Where's those one gap where you're like, this isn't being done, this is my end? What would that be? If you have in mind like something, what's the thing not being done that you would challenge people to do if they wanted to grow in that world?
I mean,
It's a really difficult question. You don't have to answer now. Like, I mean, obviously, if it were
I
something
would-
you could think of off the top of your head, everybody,
Yeah.
somebody would have done
It's
it.
so
But
personal, though.
I
It's
mean,
true.
I guess I think I'm a very big supporter of just like go do it, because Twitch is a lot about just personality wise. Like it's just
Exactly.
gotta get a following. So if I were gonna think like big picture, I'd like to see somebody go like it's really interesting to see where like Mr. Greggles goes, and like the chat immersions that he has with his stream.
Yeah.
But then if you looked at like Scene of Action, and how like crisp and clean and crazy cool his multicam streams are, and how it feels like it feels like I'm in a concert, like when I'm watching his streams.
It's an
I don't know if
event.
you've
Like
ever, have you ever watched Scene of Action?
maybe once.
Yeah, but
But
you
I'm
kind of
familiar.
know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see somebody put those two together, like something that is as like immersive as Scene of Action's stuff is, that makes me feel like, oh yeah, I'm watching something that would be on the big screen of a concert right now, and also have some sort of chat immersion with it, like being
Right.
able to, you know, change the colors of the lights and where the cameras are going to go at the next you know, cut and stuff like that. Like that would be really really fucking cool. I'm not smart enough to do that.
I thought it was
Oh, the
really
idea that-
cool
yeah.
that you couldn't get from a concert experience. I think doing something different is always
Yeah.
really, really important to anything on Twitch. But Mike the Bard had like the guitar webcam where it's like looking down the fret, and I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
there's
that's
been a handful
awesome.
of people that did that. I think it's always, you just have to try and find something different, and if somebody else is doing it, figure out how to do it better.
Mhm.
Like
That's always been my advice for Twitch, is like just be
Yeah.
really fucking good at something.
uh-huh,
Because that's
just-
entertaining. I mean, I know but like that's obviously my opinion. It's like I get the most entertainment out of somebody that makes my jaw drop when I go watch it, because it's so fucking good. Like,
yeah,
I
mean-
know, I want to see the best.
and that's as little as like, you don't have to be the greatest singer in the world,
No.
but now you could, even if that's like, hey, I have the best camera on Twitch, like I think I have the
Right.
best setup, or I'm gonna work towards having like the best lighting, or I'm gonna have like some really cool chat immersion that I haven't seen somewhere else. Like there's a bunch of that stuff that you could do.
But that's
Oh,
also
yeah,
what's really
yeah.
special about Twitch is, you know, you're not playing in a bar where people are talking to one another. Like it's an opportunity for the audience to come to you, and like there's this, it's so different than going to a concert or a bar, or to, you know, for the audience perspective. So really leaning into that too. Cause and then where is your value? You know? So it's tough. It's and it's I would not wait to drop Twitch Sings. Like I would not wait till January 1st. If you are interested
yeah.
in going into music, you need to build that content now. Right, Megan? Did it take you a while to figure out like your style and what made you happy, what made your audience happy?
I would definitely start doing stuff now. I think it's fine to keep doing some Twitch Sings things.
Absolutely.
But I think if you're still doing Twitch Sing stuff, if I was in the position of somebody that was strictly doing Twitch Sings things,
Right.
as soon as I heard that it was going to shut down, I would, if I didn't already have an instrument, I would pull the instrument out and I would start having my stream titles be like, Twitch Sings is dead. Let's learn how to play piano. And I would start learning how to play an instrument with my community and start building a community from that, because
Yeah.
that's one of my things about when people are like need to be a perfectionist about their stream and they spend all this time setting it up, and it's like you could spend that time building a community, and your community has a sort of connection with you because they see you grow and they were a part of that, and they had the
Right.
$5 that went towards you getting a better webcam, and they saw you when you got really really excited because you had your first stream with your first better camera or your first new computer or whatever it is, and that's the sort of stuff that builds that community connection. And so it's kind of that, you know, you're better off just doing it. So if I was without Twitch Sings, that's what I'd do. I'd pick up an instrument. If I didn't have an instrument, I'd set up a donation goal and be like, hey, we're, you know, donating to get me a guitar so I can learn how to play. We're going to start learning how to play an instrument on stream. And I would just start grinding that out and do that. Because you don't have to be, that is the wonderful thing about Twitch, is that you don't have to be the greatest musician in the entire world to build a following on here. You just
Mhm.
have to have a good personality. People have to find something that they can connect to in you, and that
Sure.
usually comes to like you just being yourself in some way, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, the learning process for anything, especially on Twitch, from my experience, is such a good way to like it just it makes it so nice and easy to swallow as like an observer, because it's like, I mean, all of us are here to some capacity are professional musicians, and we've had experience training and blah blah blah, but to like bring, humanize it a little bit, kind of make it like realize, hey, we're not like, we don't just wake up one morning and we know the song, like we know how to do something. It's cool to show the process so that it kind of demystifies it. It doesn't seem so intimidating when you're like I last week, just learning a song on the piano, just sitting there plunking through it and sucking at it 98% of the time until the very last time, right before I ended stream, and you play it decently well for having never played it before the stream started. That's, I feel like that's cool.
I almost wanted to make like a comedic event out of it though, like if to expand my guitar skills, like I get Foggy on, and Foggy likes to shit on me a lot, so why not televise him being impatient
Yelling
with
at
me
you.
learning guitar? Like that's content too.
Verbally abusing you until you get it.
Like,
There you go.
See what
this,
I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man.
My first music teacher, her name was Mrs. Getz, and it's okay to tell you this because she's dead. And
You're gonna get haunted.
it was
tonight.
of old age.
Mrs.
It was of old
Getz
age. I was like,
is gonna come down.
the ghost of Mrs. Getz.
Might you tonight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's gonna haunt my.
Careful,
Oh my
she's
god,
listening.
I would believe it, honestly, especially after watching all those horror movies recently. I'm definitely being watched by like I've done enough bad shit in my life. And she was like
I'm not
such
coming over anymore.
she looks exactly like Mrs. like Trudgebull from
Oh,
Matilda.
shit. Damn.
No.
Are you
Yeah,
sure
she was
you
like-
wanna
Did
say
you have
this?
to
I
eat
do
all the
not want her
chocolate
haunting
cake?
me.
I know she's gonna treat me like that little blonde girl and sling me with my pigtails over that fence.
You would be the little blonde girl.
I would, wouldn't I? You know what's so?
You
I'm
would
her.
100%
That's
do.
me.
If you were, that is you. That is.
Or I would be the kid who is forced to eat too much chocolate cake. Let's be real. Let's be real. And then I would eat it all, and then she'd be frustrated.
That sweaty witch of a cook, who's like,
Oh.
she's like she poured her blood, sweat, and tears into that cake. I always thought that was literal, like she actually bled into the. I think she did. Anyways, Ms. Getz, she was so mean and so effective she taught me like piano. I started with her when I was 4, and like she was so mean. And I learned classical piano from her, and then after that, I overcompensated. When I was like a teenager, I went to like a contemporary music piano, like a piano coach, piano teacher, who was like a loose cannon. Like he once like stole my car like for like a day. He came over for a lesson, and like right before he left, he wanted to drive my car because I had like a little sports car at the time. And it was actually a lot like that one, but silver and really old, had 1 billion miles. And he's like, can I drive it, around the block? I was like, sure. And he took it, and then I didn't see him for like 2 hours.
What? What did he say when he came back?
He didn't say anything. He's like, it drives nice. I was like, sure it does. And then, I don't know. He got fired.
Like, no, where were you with my car?
My parents fired the shit out of him. Not because of that though, but because
Wait, I'm appalled you didn't ask him where he took your car.
Or if he had hit someone, because that liability's on you there,
right,
sir.
he definitely went and robbed the bank with my car, and then came back and like.
Yeah, that comes back
now
to
I'm
you.
on lamb. Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't actually a music teacher, and it was like some.
Oh
He just
no,
wanted to
Megan,
steal-
no!
It was just one of those. I'm not
Maybe he's a
thinking about it in a
kleptomaniac.
bad way. I'm thinking like he's just someone that's like lied on a resume or was like, yeah, sure, I can.
Sure, I'm a fucking no, but he
Yeah.
was so good though at
Oh,
piano.
really?
Oh my god, he was so good. It blew my mind. That's such a weird, out of
That's
touch guy.
hilarious.
Was just so good. Like it blew my mind. So like he got a pass because he was like I'd sit there and just
Alright.
fucking I could listen to him play all day long. He was just that good. So.
I mean, the best performers don't always make the best teachers, is what I've found.
Yeah, he was a total wild card.
Pedagogy
He
is
like
a completely
chain
different
smoked
monster.
and like he had like 2 children, but he was like never home for them. Like he was a weird,
car.
not so good guy, but he was so talented. Stole my fucking car. We used to have recitals in his house, you know, when they're like when you're a kid and you do the piano recitals, and you
Yeah.
normally at like a small theater venue, but these were at his house.
Okay, that's weird.
Very weird. And
Couldn't have just gone to a church and said, "Hey, can we just have?"
or like not have them, but like we would be at his house, and he had like 2 babies, and like so he had 2 children, and then his dad, who was like 97 and like basically catatonic, like he was just so he was like sitting in a corner of the room during the recital, like basically like, you know, you'd look at him and be like, is he dead? And the little babies were screaming and running around. His wife hated him. Like it was an absolute nightmare. But what an era of my life. But he made me, you know, he got me in, like he made piano fun.
Have you
'Cause he was
seen the
that good
movie
at it.
Whiplash?
I
have. Yeah.
It's kind of along those same lines, like what gets a person to learn and what's the most efficient way. And this guy's like
Yeah.
throwing drum kits at the guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
his,
Wait, what's that actor's name?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah, by the way, his Howard Stern interview is fantastic. But yeah, J.K. Fun story about him. He got his first, when he was auditioning, he was staying with his friend in like Hell's Kitchen in some tiny ass apartment, and he had an audition, but he didn't have the money for like the cab or whatever to get over to it in time.
Mm-hmm.
And so his roommate lent him like $20, and then that audition turned into the role that, like, you know, launched his career. And
Is that like Law and Order or something? I don't remember.
I honestly, I can't remember. Something early, like, because he's older, so it must have been
Yeah,
years
that's
and
true.
years ago. And he's like, he's like, I'm still in touch with the guy, but he's like, but he will not let me pay him back. Like, I want to, you know, like even down to like buying him dinner, like, because he owes him, like, you know, the way he sees it, it's like he owes his career to this guy, and
Yeah.
he won't let him pay it back. And I'm like, that's just so sweet. That's just so kind.
Isn't that?
He's such an
Aw.
interesting dude. But yeah, no, my music teacher was not nearly as cool as J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. I wish he was that cool. He's just a dick. Like,
And you think that
he was
J.K.
just a
Simmons
dick.
wasn't just a dick?
He was like a cool dick, though, you know.
He was
No,
like
he
my
wasn't. He was like a
like
sadistic
Grinder,
asshole.
cool dick.
That
He
was
was
Yeah,
that was
an
next
alcoholic.
level.
Sadistic
That's my
asshole.
type. That's my type.
Okay, that's why you have
I'm
boy
single.
issues.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. That's very
Are
true.
we-
It
are
Maybe
we
you
makes
should
me
pivoting
horny.
into
reevaluate your
relationship?
type, Ty.
Yeah.
We're pivoting into
It's be-
relationship advice for Ty here, by the way.
This pivot. This is how every episode goes. I like try and segue it into just somebody. Come on, y'all. Y'all have handsome gay friends. Come on.
or
How
or,
hard can it
or
be?
Tinder
Look at me.
profile advice.
Send him my VOD and just be like, you know, fuck this kid. He's.
Hey, you got
throw
my
me a pity
boyfriend to tell
bone.
you you're a good-looking guy. He's just
I did
he's
fish
just
for that compliment.
he's just occupied, okay, Ty? I'm not sharing him right
See,
now.
you say it, but when you say he's occupied, that means there's going to be an end to it. He's like, you can't say he's occupied. That's like saying the bathroom in the airplane.
I don't want to freak him out though by
'Cause they
saying
will
like we'll
eventually leave.
never end. That's the overly attached
He's here
girlfriend
forever.
meme. Like you're here forever, right?
I'm just
Have you
saying,
guys seen that
trap
meme,
him.
by the way? What?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Just lock him in.
what was it like? Google Maps said you should have been home 15 minutes ago. It took you 17 minutes. Who is she? Like
I've been spending way too much time on TikTok, and I saw one yesterday of like a mom. Like, there's been this really big trend of like, you know, as like the whole world of Karens, like, it's bigger, of people like me, you know, being like what a Karen is like, and they'll dress up like they'll dress up like a mom, you
Kate
know, with all the
Gosselin.
yeah, and they'll just talk about, like, you know, she'll be she's like, oh my god, like, it's a minute past curfew and he's not here, he's absolutely dead, like, it's, you know, he's like that type of shit, you know. And then she spells the word backward, like the mom spells like the time backwards. She's like, these letters stand for like rum, and he's, I don't know, it's stupid. I clearly am not expressing myself correctly, but it's funny. It's funny. I'm funny.
I trust you.
We trust you.
I'm funny. I'm really funny. Okay,
I
laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mine,
did last night, staying up really
I-
late, as I interrupt you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go for it. Mine was, I was just gonna say, I saw a Karen meme that was this morning, that was Karens can't, or the only defense against a Karen is a Kyle. and it was
Wait.
it was a principal yelling at a skater outside of the high school, and she was like, "Get off of my property," and he's like, "That's not your job." And she's like, "Yes, it is. I'm the principal of this school." And he's like, "No, it's not your job to kick me off. It's your job
I
to
saw
principal
this.
these schools. That's security's job." And she's
Yeah.
like, "No, it's my job to kick you off." And then he's like, "No, it's not." And then she started screaming. And she's like, "Get off the property!" And then he was like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And then just like kept like just mock yelling at her.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, yeah. She's
And
like,
it was-
basically, get off my school. And he's like, oh, this shit was so fucking
know,
It was
funny.
so funny because you know that she was just so mad at that.
Oh my god, like
Liddy's
she
mom-
couldn't do anything about it.
Liddy's mom's name is Karen. Sorry, Karen.
Hmm.
And she did not understand that meme. And I think he was talking about it on stream one day. Like, this person looks like a Karen. And they were having a phone call at one point. She's like, "Why were you making fun of me?" And I'm like, he's like, no, it's a meme.
That,
You've unfortunately
See-
been named Karen. And now it's like, there was like
Oh, no.
15 minutes there where she was
Yeah.
wounded, though. And I feel that because nobody wants to be made
Oh, I
fun,
love-
especially
I
if you don't
love-
understand.
the one good thing to come out of like this obsession with recording everything out in public is like just being
Racial
able to
justice,
just see-
social justice. Like
Well,
the
that,
one-
I mean, all that shit. But like from an entertainment standpoint, like
Yeah.
Karen's just freaking the fuck out
It
over the
is really
tiniest
funny.
little shit. Oh my god, I
Yeah.
love it. And what is it about skateboarders that like 43 to 48-year-old women hate?
I have no
I
idea.
don't get it.
Because
It's
they're
so funny.
hoodlums.
Yeah, they're exactly. They're riff-raff, street rats.
They're
Scoundrel.
hoodlums who are gonna damage our property with their skateboards
yeah.
and their graffiti.
And their
It is
saggy
very bizarre,
jeans.
though. Like the assumptions we attach. This is what we call stereotyping, guys.
Honestly-
ladies and gentlemen.
Part of me also is kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes I get mad when I see people like standing outside my house. Or
Get
like
off
in
my
my
porch.
yard. I
I-
definitely did see there was a
my bad,
neighbor there was a neighbor child that for some reason was just like
There was a neighbor
sitting-
child.
Yeah, there was a neighbor of some
Just
that
said
was
that
a
so
child of a neighbor's of some kind that was just sitting in our front yard
Yeah.
for like I don't know why. I don't know what the heck he was doing. I was just like, why? What is he? And I remember getting like kind of mad that he was sitting
Get
in
off
my
my
yard.
lawn.
And
he
I
gonna
was
pee
like,
on my
and I
lawn?
had that moment. Yeah, I had that moment of being like, oh, I'm definitely gonna be that old person.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
like,
can't wait to
get-
be that.
Wife beater and all, like hands in
I
your
wanna get
pants. Like,
No, I'm gonna go full female Karen. Like I'm not
Oh,
going.
nice.
I'm not becoming
Yeah.
like an old. I'm not gonna become an old
Now
so
you're
and so. I'm gonna be like a. Yes, I'm gonna be a speak. Let me speak to your manager. Ugh, I like want to be that so bad because it'd be just. I don't know. It just
You'd be
sounds like
good
it'd be a
at
lot of fun.
My,
Because nobody
uh,
would expect it, you know. They wouldn't expect it from me, and I walk in and I'm just an absolute nightmare. It'd be great.
It's so fucking terrible how retail workers are treated, and I have a story about this. Like my dad is he's a published Christian author, but he used to be a big deal in Wall Street and et cetera, and people in my town knew him. But like when I was working for Starbucks and people didn't know that I was, Bruce Hartman's daughter, they were like, I just doxed myself a little bit there. But anyway, they were terrible to me, but then they're like, "You're Bruce's daughter." And then the whole experience 180'd,
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
I'm still the same person that you were
Uh-huh.
shitting on a week ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
Every
Makes
child
me-
needs to work in retail at some point. Just to,
That's the stuff that
As
makes
punishment for
me want to be
existing.
an introvert. That's the stuff that makes me an introvert. Is that people like as much as people are cool, people also suck. Like
oh,
they
they're
suck.
terrible.
Yeah, people are so.
Yeah.
See, this is actually. So this is what I was gonna say. I've been spending my nights when I can't sleep. I've been writing my, my stream of consciousness, my like jokes, and eventually, ideally, it would be cool to like hone it into a really clean 10 minutes stand up like
Mhm.
thing.
Are,
I've
are
been
you still
writing some of
working
these
on
stuff
it
down.
since
Oh my
Mr.
gosh.
Scoot's funny camp? that we-
Absolutely. This whole thing. These are all little jokes
hell
and
yeah.
and it's really cohesive, but like it literally starts out, and I've mentioned this on this podcast before, that like I've come to the realization that like love and hate, you know, are very similar emotions, right?
Absolutely.
And people like, I guess you could say that like people say that, right, like the centers of your brain where like of love and hate are like really close or something like that. I don't know. I'm not. It's not like I have a
It's
biology
absolutely
degree.
true.
I've studied this.
I going through a
But-
divorce. I know it's true.
Yeah.
and like I would take it one step further to say that like the feelings of sex and murder are like really like
Damn.
really similar, you know what I mean? Like this
Mhm.
like the idea of like the physical like you either want to strangle the shit out of somebody because they're just so you just like, why can't you just be able to punch somebody? Like also, you know, you look at one person, you're like, I would absolutely topple your bones given the opportunity. Like it goes beyond just the idea of like love and hate. It's like I want to either fuck
Fuck you or
fuck
murder
the
you.
shit out of you or fuck you up. Like that's I find the older you get, the more extreme those feelings come, the more horny you become, but also the more prone to like I hate you become.
I can
Like you
speak
hate
to the
everybody
horniness
fucks
part.
you off, like hates you, you know, or you hate it. What'd you say?
I could speak to the horniness part. I'm older than both of you, I think, aren't I?
Yes.
I just turned
Yeah.
36, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you're older than me.
I'm feeling like older than dirt. Didn't you say that joke like a couple weeks ago, Ty? Did you just
I thought you were
expand
older
upon
than
it?
dirt.
I'm
What?
not.
I
older than
did
dirt,
the
I
whole
just-
whole murder and fuck. Yeah, I said that. I said it on the podcast a few times ago, but it was relevant because, like what were we talking about? We were talking about how it's so easy because people suck a lot of the time. They
Yeah.
suck. So like you kind of just want to like you hate like the more introverted we become, obviously the more annoyed we get by the small shit. You know, and that's what I wrote down in like one of the things like.
The older you get, the more experience you get, and the more you're just like, I fucking
I
can't.
see it
with
coming
you
from a
guys
mile
anymore.
away. Like I see this person, I already know I'm gonna hate them. You meet
Mhm.
Carol from accounting, and she won't stop clicking her fucking pen at their desk
accounts
next to me, and
payable
I'm gonna
speaking.
slap the
You,
shit out of
Carol.
her.
Just a moment.
And fuck you, Carol. You know,
Accounts
or
payable,
like
Lena speaking.
you eventually are like, well, I have to lower my standards. This guy is
He has a pulse.
somewhat mentally stable. He has a pulse, and I'm pretty sure he's not a serial
not
killer.
been
I guess I'll fuck
castrated.
him.
Damn.
Yeah, let's do these Strati.
Heteros.
Fucking straight people.
Whoa!
Straighties. This is the first time the podcast has we've had the straights outnumbered.
I am totally. I don't
So
know. I
you can
kind of wonder about myself sometimes. I won't be that typical like dumb white girl being like, I question my sexuality, but I wonder sometimes. I wonder.
I think that it's.
loud.
Here's my thing about sexuality labels. Look at me. I'm on a soapbox on our podcast. I don't think they matter. I think that they're really stupid because sexuality is a spectrum. For that reason, like you can be straight, but also be like, hey, every once in a while I see a girl that I might be okay with making out with. Like I'd be chill with that. Just
Mhm.
as much as there's a gay guy that I'm sure I'm sure that there's beautiful women that you've seen that like
Look at
you've
that
been
face,
like, oh yeah, but it's like you can't all of a sudden. I'm sure there's also a lot of gay people, or I know that there have been, that it's like they fall in love with somebody that's the opposite sex, or there's a straight person that all of a sudden falls in love with someone that's of the same sex, and now they have to go through this whole thing of relabeling themselves as some sexuality as if it is a personality type or as if it really matters.
Or
And
the
As
it's-
if- yeah, 'cause-
assignment
yeah,
of it,
right.
like of
Yeah.
like there being some mental disorder associated with like bisexuality, for example, or there's like a hypersexuality associated with being bisexual.
Mhm.
You know, that
Yeah.
is obnoxious. Absolutely
I'm-
obnoxious.
I'm totally on board with that, Megan. Like I absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you'd be better off not spending your time, you know, if you were somebody questioning your sexuality, you'd be better off not spending your time trying to like wrap it all neat and tightly so you
Mhm.
like the one. So actually I've recently he's not in any of our social circles. He's not a streamer. He's just an old friend that I've known forever. Funny story about him, actually. I've known him for so long, and I honestly had a giant crush on him. I met him playing Destiny 2 back on launch. Like I
Is it
didn't even
Dr.
meet him in
Lupo?
person at that time. Yeah, so me and Dr. Lupo fucked. No, how funny would that be if I had that over him?
Oh god,
That would be such blackmail. Useless.
that would be such fucking clout. That's what it would be.
No, and then eventually, like, we hung out in person. He's just genuinely been like one of the nicest people I've ever met. But I got really drunk in Italy. I went alone. I flew to Italy and spent like 10 days there alone because I just really wanted to go. I wanted to travel alone. I wanted to see, like, I love
traveling alone.
yeah, it's the bomb. And like, I had always wanted to go to Italy, and I love pre-Renaissance art, so I got to go to the Uffizi and all that stuff. So anyways, I went, and my first night there,
Sorry.
well, the first night there, obviously I was super jet lagged. Hi, puppy. Hi, buddy. I was super duper jet lagged, and so I was like, I'm here in Italy. I'm alone. It's like this, you know, the center of like art and culture, blah blah. And I went out to this cafe on the street in the middle of Rome, and I got a bottle of wine. And they like loved that I was American, and they were like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm New York. I'm from New York City." And they're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, and I said, "I'm an actor." And they're like, "You're a famous actor from America. Here's all our wine." And I drank an entire bottle of wine, jet lagged. Like, I hadn't slept in a day and a half. Got blackout drunk. It's like the only time I've ever passed out drinking. And apparently I called this guy up that I met, who I'd been talking to for a while, not relationship, like just as a friend. And I apparently confessed my love for him and I like begged him to run away with me and like we could live a happy life together and shit like that. It was so fucking funny. I don't even know. Oh yeah, anyways, recently, so he was straight up until literally, that was years ago. This was like maybe a month ago, and he like calls me up like genuinely distraught, like depressed, and he was like, you know, I've been questioning my sexuality. I am so like, I was like, you don't even sweat it. Like, just like, you don't even have to question anything. I mean, like, it's fun to like, it's question like, okay, you know, be aware of how you're feeling, but you don't need to find a solution. There's not an answer that needs to be there, like like a definite. And that was the thing that bothered him the most. And so I was really intrigued by this because it kind of made, it's like, you know, when somebody's depressed and you're like, well, just not be depressed. Like, even when you're somebody's like, what's my sexual, you know, like, I'm questioning my sexuality, and you say, you know, you don't have to worry about it. People still do. They're like, I just want to be able, like, for their own personal closure, they're so hardwired to have a
but because
label.
it's been labeled for such a long fucking time.
I had a therapist on my podcast, and he put it into perspective where he was like, when you say those things, human brains like black and white, and so when you give them a gray area, they do a what the fuck? How can that exist?
Is that like cognitive dissonance basically?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so it's like this, it's like that weird gray area of like, you can tell someone like, hey, sexuality really doesn't matter, like that label really doesn't matter, it's more of if you're happy or not. But like, sometimes our brains don't have the realization or like the self-awareness to be able to come to that like gray area conclusion,
because we are sorters, and we also like our we like the opinions of the people around us for the most part, or we like creating echo chambers for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we are not really creatures of growth unless we try to, or unless we're willing to be uncomfortable. Because if you hold something dear, like, you know, even if you're thinking about like gender roles, and if you think about females in particular, this is close to my mind. We watched the Ruth Bader Ginsburg movie last night. It was really, really great. But it's like, everybody's assuming women need to be rescued by a man. And you think about, where did women learn that? Disney movies, like the Snow White had to be rescued, Sleeping Beauty had to be rescued. So there's like this pervasive opinion in your head, you know. And then I think TV shows back in the 2000s, like Will and Grace, there was like a caricature of a homosexual male. You know, he's very flamboyant. What's that guy's name? Sean Hayes. Sean Hayes.
Sounds familiar.
But I think he was that flamboyant character on that show. And then you think about, I think there was the movie Crash, and I think Terrence Howard played a role of an actor, and he's like, I don't like the way this was written. He's like, and then the producer said to him, well, this is how black people are supposed to sound. So
oh my god,
like,
yeah,
and it ended up being like, if he got fired or I don't remember the details, but I remember that sticking out to me. It seems like an innocuous thing. But how much does that hurt, like, to say, like, you're supposed to stay at home. You're supposed to be the caregiver. You're supposed to be the goofy Will Smith type of character you're supposed to be an athlete.
What's
you know,
so
you're supposed to drive a Subaru and have short hair and like guard, like, you know what I mean? Like
There's
that,
all
these
these
things.
boxes that don't matter. Like at the end of
No,
the day,
yeah.
that's not the stuff. Like I have thought a lot about this, about how like you can't put a human being in any sort of box because it is statistically impossible for two human beings to be the exact same. So why do we consistently try and like pick out labels and like put people into these labels in these boxes to like help our brains basically? And it doesn't make any sense, and the only reason we do it is because we've seen everybody else do it. And so it's this, like, I don't know, it's that same idea of like chasing perfection, and how
Right.
perfection doesn't exist, or like in reality the only thing that's perfect is
The imperfection.
humans, the fact that humans work and that there's life in the world. Like that's like I've thought about this. I feel like the only perfect thing that has ever happened in the existence of the world is humanity. Like
Mm.
And
fact
and humanity sucks.
but I mean the fact that we all work in tandem, like it sucks right now, but like that's the thing that I think
That's
we're
true.
all lacking, is like we're forgetting the fact that there's a cause and effect to everything, and if I do something good, you all are going to benefit from it, like my neighbors
Right.
will, and I need to go to work so that my like all of the other people that benefit from me being at work are. And instead we're in this like, no, it's one or nothing kind of mindset. And so if you think about it in a whole, it's like it's really kind of cool how it's, we're on a planet where the stuff that we, exhale carbon dioxide, and there are these really cool plants that eat it, and then all this stuff that we do, like as long as we're not creating negative things, like it's the earth feeds off of it and then gives us what we want. It's all this like cause and effect, and we're in this weird place where humanity doesn't think about that anymore. Or
Oh no, yeah.
yeah.
No, the whole collaborative. I mean, the whole mask thing has shown how little regard people have for that
Americans.
give and take. It's
Mhm.
well, yeah, it's that superiority complex that we seem to have. That like, life's got to. I think about that whole. It's like it's very much this whole propaganda that we love. It's like if we say we're great enough times that we'll be great.
But it's,
And
the,
that's
it's the creation
never
of the
fucking
echo
true.
chamber in particular with the anti-mask argument, and with like, I don't know, I don't want to get too controversial, but it's the same thing as an anti-vaccine argument and
Same,
you
yeah,
know.
it's the same.
Um,
It's just like almost people live to be a contrarian. It's like because there's an opinion, somebody has to have the opposite opinion for the
Yeah,
sake
it's
of
cool to
freedom.
it'd be
It's
edgy.
cool to be divisive, to be
Yeah.
it's very it's a weird place. I think that's why I think it's important for people that are able to, like, people that can voice and be like, yo, we don't have to be so divisive, like we can work together again, because at the end of the day that's the stuff that matters. Like
I mean, the founding fathers used to scream at each other, but at the end of the day, they got it done.
And they were like 25. They
Also-
were like young, like they were like children. I mean,
I think
effectively
they are.
young
They
adults.
were.
Like,
They,
yeah, and they were like, and so, yeah, it's not clean. It's not pretty. It's not this like the angels descended from heaven into the Congress halls back when the Declaration of Independence was drafted and like the Constitution was written. It's no, it was like so fucking messy, and obviously the wars that have reverberated out of those things continuously over time have shown that it's
Yeah.
never gonna ever be clean. So like,
what did
you
I
know,
hear?
this-
I heard something that was, maybe it was on Twitter or something like that, but it was like, it was somebody that was like, I don't know, in the 1600s or whatever it was, when there were kings or queens, like leaders were meant as true servants of the people. Like that's what like public assassinations or like public executions were. Is it was a literal like,
Yeah.
yo, if your king or queen didn't do what you wanted, if fuck all you, then we're just gonna storm the castle and pull you into
And
the center of
yeah.
the the
Mer-
crowd and kill you. Like, so it was a true like, hey, if you aren't doing what we want you to, if you aren't serving us, you can't do that. And it's like completely backwards now, which is
We need
very
to Marie Antoinette Trump ASAP.
yeah.
I'm gonna get swatted. Hold on, SWAT team.
French
Let me finish my
Revolution.
sentence. We need to march on the White House, pull him out, and guillotine. Ah! I'm not condoning murder, but I feel like a guillotine would be a really, really cool,
Just,
really cool show of
I
force.
want to put him in a
Could you
sensory
imagine?
deprivation chamber where he's no access to anything else, and he can just watch porn on a screen floating in water.
Have you like listened
Wow, you're
to
still giving him the
the pleasure of porn?
porn.
But it's gay porn.
But it would just keep him. It's not even rewarding him. It's keeping him away from the rest of society. You know what I mean? Like
It's gonna be like old, like senior citizen gay porn. People like him. It's gonna be like lookalikes, 2 Trump lookalikes, fucking each other. He's like, no, as he floats on room temperature water.
Call Me Tiny has
Um,
just fly swatted you, by the way, with a fly swatter.
For talking about a guillotine.
Yeah, so fly swatter.
Guillotines are cool. Somebody buy me a guillotine. Get on that.
Donation goal.
Donation goal. How much is a guillotine? Somebody make me one with my name on it, please.
Ooh, can they bedazzle it?
Bedazzle. Oh my god.
Make it extra.
I know, he heard that. He's yeah. Can Swarovski sponsor me and give me a bejeweled guillotine? I was gonna say something about porn because it came up, but I don't know. I forget something about porn. It was something about oh, it had nothing to do with porn, but it had to do with Trump. Have you like listened to some of those like yeah, there's them in that controversy about him having had like micro strokes over time recently, and that he's secretly been getting treated for them, and like he's obviously denied it, or people have denied it, and obviously like even if it happened, he was gonna always deny it. But like if you listen to his speeches, especially as of late, obviously his public speaking is like horrific, but like, as of late, there's like compilations of him pronouncing words wrong and just saying random facts that aren't true, and it's like he no longer can like speak appropriately. His sentences are not complete. He's making up words, he's stumbling over them, and it genuinely is how, if I were to interact with somebody like that, I would assume, not jokes aside, I would assume they had gone senile or there was something developmentally there that was wrong. And like, could you imagine, like, it's if this was like the French Revolutionary, they would march on that palace with him in it so fucking fast.
Yeah.
They'd like it blows my mind how you can see the mental illness like at this point for face value. Like you
Yeah.
can see it right there. And it's not that there's anything, not that people need to be marching on Parliament or whatever because people have mental, like, no, I'm just talking about Trump being like clearly not being fit to run. But it blows my mind. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, he sucks and he's an idiot, but then you watch his speech, you're like, he's more than an idiot. He's mentally, his capacities have completely failed him. Like, it's
Yeah.
insane.
But he's not even
I just had to
surrounding
say
himself
something.
with good people to guide and advise, which I think that's
Like,
the key. Like getting the right people around you.
Like, honestly, genuinely, I would pay. Like, I wish, like, if I had unlimited resources and I could have any information I wanted from the universe, one of the things on my list would be a full medical workup of Donald Trump to see what has happened. I genuinely think, people want to know if he's actually gone, like, completely.
Yeah.
If he's had like a some sort of stroke or he's actually gone, had his mental faculties leave him. Again, no discrimination there to anybody, who've experienced that or a part of that. I just think from a ruling, I mean, there's amendments to enact like so that somebody who's mentally ill fit to rule the country are removed from power, and yet here
That's
we are.
usually why we have free elections, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely vote, guys.
Yeah,
Please
go
vote.
vote. Like
Vote
fuck.
for-
And you know it's more than that. You need to convince your social circles, everybody listening,
Yeah.
to go vote. And you obviously, like, you know, we're all aware, we're very socially aware of like what's going on, but the people around you probably aren't all, you know, like your family, your closest friends, your social circle.
Or they're being
Work on them.
marginalized.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about all the people that are touched like by that. You know, if you're not queer or a person of color or a combination of any sort of trivialized community, you know somebody who is. I guarantee it. So, hell, I mean, that's everybody. To be honest, because I mean, even women are being trivialized. Like, not to say that they haven't always been, but it's on a very basic level. Like, it's everything. It's every gender and race, but you need to work on your social circle. We all, like, you know, if you already know, yes, I'm going to vote and I stand up for what I believe in, great, but you're not the problem at the moment. It's the people who aren't voting. So go bombard your friends and make it a party, take a day off, you know, celebrate it, and then, you know, vote together, whatever. But that's the thing that's going to win the election, is getting all the people who don't vote. There was like that billboard
The
up
activism.
that was like a picture. Yeah, there was like a picture of a waffle on a billboard, and it said, if this waffle that was voted to the top post on Reddit was running for president, it would have won by a significant margin. It had like 100,000 upvotes or whatever. Like, that's the difference between like the amount of, like, just enough people get together, and it
No,
doesn't
some
have to be
people
some
voted for
incredible amount.
Harambe. People voted for
Yeah.
Harambe the last election, which is terrifying.
Like, that's the amount
That's
of power and
terrifying.
sway these
Yeah.
like that's there, and it's a very powerful weapon. It's not, it can be so good, but it can be so dangerous. I mean, it has been. I mean, the split votes for you know, between Bernie and Hillary, like, that's the lack of endorsement. I mean, that whole shit show.
That
You
was
know,
a shit show.
like, that's the just work on your fucking friends. People need to be saying that. Go to, like, make your social circle annoyed with how much you talk about voting. Like, make them do something that'll shut you up. Like, I make your that's just is what it's going to be. You know, you need to get 5 of your friends to go vote. Like, that's just how bad things have been. Like, you know,
Well, it was
it
like
gets me so fired up.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg like had a ton of support from her husband. Her husband was an ally for her goals and put his reputation on the line to help her bring these cases before, like, you know, the different things she started off with. Like, it was poo-pooed, and he's like, and he actually had to, I don't know if it's true, but in the movie it's portrayed that he was told to argue with her for the case that they were arguing, but he was like, no, my wife knows this better. And, you know, she graduated the top of her class from Columbia Law, and just because of the perception of women, was unable to get hired anywhere in New York, which has been historically liberal, you know. So it just, I think it takes allies and support to get these things done, you know. And so those of us who are in privilege for whatever reason, and because of our identity, because of our economic status, need to step up and need to be vocal. Social media is not enough. Like, you have to take action. But
Yeah.
it's not time to ignore the rain. The rain's gonna happen whether you're paying attention to it or not. So,
I'm gonna change the subject because I heard something funny on the radio when I was on my way here, back home. So I was driving him to the vet, driving back, and there was a commercial talking about, like, contacts. You know, it's like for a company that's like 1-800 contacts and mail, whatever. And it was like trying to promote the idea of like, as opposed to glasses, you get contacts. So the premise, it started out with you know what I look for? They had like an actor be like, you know what I look forward to every morning when I wake up? Stabbing myself in the eye, putting in my contacts, as like an argument towards getting glasses. And it just, I don't know. It's the absurdity, the idea that they were like, yes, that's what putting contacts in is. It's stabbing yourself in the eye. That's as if, like, I don't know. That just, it's so fucking stupid that somebody was like, yeah, that's going to convince people to stop using their contacts. I mean, like, I just found that really fucking absurd.
It is
you're
a
not stabbing
very
yourself in the eye.
absurd thing to
But
say.
that's exactly why I
especially when
don't.
people that wear contacts are very aware that that's not what you do.
right, exactly.
Like, if I sway someone that's thinking about getting contacts, but like even that, I don't think so.
I just how the fuck are they putting in their gut? You know, like that's I just thought it was absurd.
I
heard
would
it
be the
today.
fucking idiot who leaves it in my eyes and then I have to get infections. I know myself. This is why I got an
That's
IUD.
fucking-
And I don't take birth control because I fuck that shit up all the time. I would definitely do that with contact lenses. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Oh
Liam,
my
how
God.
long have you had them in? Oh, a week.
Oh,
That's
I
your
never
problem.
take them out.
Oh, are you supposed to take them out?
I thought they just adhere to your eye for a reason.
Did you see? Oh, there's like a news article of somebody who it was on news forever ago. Somebody had like 27 contacts in their fucking eye.
No.
Like that's like painting over and over again, and you get layers, and to the point where it's like, you know, you get
How-
like band posters on a
but
wall, and it's like they stack up. It's like
there's no way they could have blinked.
yeah, it was
Right,
going-
like, 'cause the-
you could see molecules. You could see
It's
like
still,
the fucking
like,
molecular.
It's
you could
still
see DNA.
occupying space for your eyelid to come down around, even though they're really like, are you tucking them in the corner there? I don't know.
Yeah,
like-
apparently, I mean, they were back of the eye. They're fucking. I'm half convinced that they were like, just their eyes had to like their eyelids were just reaching. Just,
Or no, you
wouldn't
have to,
even blink.
like-
At that point, they just didn't even blink. No, like straight up, look it up. It was just like stacked together. It's absurd. Ugh.
My ex-boyfriend's mom said she was very obsessed with her appearance, and she's like, oh, I never take my eye makeup off, and I'm like,
What color pillows does she have?
I don't
That's
know.
my fear with the makeup. I don't want to get found. I have white pillows. I made my bed like a hotel bed where everything's white.
Okay.
The idea it terrifies me. The idea of like sleeping in makeup. I will ruin my sheets.
Gross.
Oh, did you look it up, Megan?
Yeah.
It's as bad as you thought, right? Like,
Surgeons
Okay, I'm
removed
going.
27 contact lenses from. Hold on, I'll post this.
was I
link in
right?
chat.
Did I say 27 correctly? I feel
Yeah. I'll post this in chat so y'all can get a good.
good. Yeah.
Maybe Ty can do a good, a dramatic reading.
Oh,
the
I will. I
BBC.
love it. I'll do my radio voice.
Oh. Okay, there it is. Oh, link
Wait,
deleted.
hold on.
Can you grab it still?
Here. Here's what I'll do. I'm just
I
gonna
put
mod
the
you real quick,
BBC
post
article
again.
in my chat.
All right, go ahead and put it in. Put it in again.
There you go.
I'm repulsed.
Alright.
Let's all take a moment. A bluish foreign body turned out to be a hard mass of 17 lenses stuck together with mucus.
Ooh.
67-year-old
Alright, open
woman.
up. Yeah, here we go.
It would cause quite a lot of irritation. There's a scene in Pitch Black.
67. That's an adult. What the
That's a fucking adult.
After they were removed, she said her eyes felt a lot more comfortable. Quote, shocked. Specialist training in ophthalmology, RuPaul Morharia, told Optometry Today, quote, none of us have ever seen this before. It was such a large mass. All of the 17 contact lenses stuck together. They were just stacked on top of each other.
The
They
picture's
normally-
in the article there. And have you seen the movie Pitch Black, where he's doing an injection into his eye? He's a drug addict, and like they show the shot of him like going with the needle. That shit freaks me out. So I cannot fathom leaving anything in my eye. Like,
That's when I had because I tweeted about it. Like when I had cataracts. So cataracts causes swelling in the eye to the point because scar tissue starts to try and cover up your fractal lens. That's what's damaged, and the scar tissue causes inflammation. You can get an infection. So that inflammation, to prevent it, they inject steroids directly into your eye to keep them from swelling. So I had cataracts in both eyes. So like once every couple of weeks, I had to go into the ophthalmology office and get injections directly into my eye, in each eye.
Was it
I
like center
know.
of your eye? Did you like see?
No. So they don't. It wasn't. They have you like look up, and then they do it like right here, like right like beneath. They like pull down and just inject it right where your eye meets like almost your bottom
Can
eye
you
socket.
feel it?
So they give you like general anesthesia, like a little bit of the injected anesthesia. Like they use the needle to inject it in the same place, and then they put the bigger needle in with the steroid. Well, they do drops to numb the surface of the eye.
okay,
That's all
but
they really did for me. but yeah, you could feel the needle once it was in, and once it broke the surface, you could feel it. It doesn't hurt as much as you think it does. It doesn't. It's not the pain that really does it, because it's almost like a
Just the
mild
feeling
pinch.
of
Because there's not a
something
ton of
breaking the
nerves in there.
surface
It's
of
not.
your eye.
Yeah, it's yeah. The worst part is definitely watching it work. It's that never that never goes away.
Did you have to have that happen again when you had your eye shit go down?
Recently,
Yeah.
no. When I got my retina detached, no, I didn't need any injections. I just got put under. and
Oh
they
yeah,
attached
I was
it.
gonna
I
say
was asleep for,
like
20
I would
minutes. It
ask
was
for a
great.
local like I want to go the fuck to sleep. I don't even want to know what's happening because
When I got my cataracts, so for the cataract surgery, they had to keep me awake, but they like gave me just enough morphine to like knock me out, like, but not totally asleep.
were they afraid of vomiting or something?
No,
Is
because
that-
they're afraid of me like going into REM, rapid eye movement, like
Ah,
asleep.
yeah.
So they need to keep you just awake enough where the eye can be still. And so I was awake, but then they put in this drug. It's called a block that prevents the signals going between like
Yeah.
it's basically it shuts off the eyesight. So it blocks, the signal going to your brain of the eye, transmitting
cranial nerve.
the image. So your eye can be open, but you don't see anything. So that's what they do. They block it, and then they put you under, so I'm like awake, and then they like strap your head in because you don't want to be like turning and shit. And I remember talking during my cataract surgeries. I remember having full-on conversations with these doctors, and I was like 16. And the retina one, they just knocked me the fuck out. I was asleep for it's a fast surgery. It was like 20 minutes. They give me the good stuff, and my dad is, since he's an eye doctor, like knew the anesthesiologist personally, and she gave me like some real good shit. She like gave
Hell
me,
yeah.
she like went real hard with it. I love morphine. But anyways, yes, no, eye injections suck. So-
Yeah, that
and
sounds horrible.
Don't recommend. I don't recommend it.
I'll just keep my glasses.
Yeah, now I'm
Yeah.
wearing glasses anyways. But I
don't
love
want-
these. They're cute. So
I don't want it.
I like Megan's glasses.
I like
Thanks, I
Megan
just got
Everett.
'em
She's so
recently.
hot.
Oh really?
I'm very much I get free lenses on my insurance or free frames or whatever, or to a certain amount after every 2 years, I think.
Okay.
And so I'm definitely somebody that I buy them and then I keep the same glasses for 2 years. And I don't have multiple pairs, so I
have
always
to have
have
multiple
to
pairs.
find something that it's like, okay, this is gonna have to fit me for the next. This is what my style is for the next 2 years.
I need to have multiples because like I lose them.
Oh.
And like it's not that they're completely lost, they're just out of my conception. Like I end up finding them 6 months later. Oh, they were under a desk somewhere. Don't ask.
Doesn't
like,
that fucking bother you when you lose something in your own goddamn place and you're like, it's not that big of a place?
this thing
Yeah.
was
Where
face
the
down
fuck
on my
did this
black
go?
desk and I could not find it for like 3 weeks and then Brian finally found it yesterday. 'Cause I'm a
That's
fucking
what I- and I-
idiot.
That's when I tweeted about those fucking flip-flops. I lose flip-flops so much. Where do they go? I have 4 pairs of flip-flops. I've lost a pair since I've tweeted that. Like, and then and then eventually I'll plan a beach vacation. I'm like, I need flip-flops, and I'll order them, and then they arrive, and then I'm packing my suitcase. I pull my suitcase out from the place where it's been since I used it last, and like underneath the suitcase, there's like 3 pairs of flip-flops. I don't get it. I might try somebody to go to Walmart. I do. I buy cheap ass. I just need to stop buying flip flops. I'll just go barefoot.
No,
Fuck
I like
shoes.
reefs with like the bottle opener on the.
Those are the ones I
Understand.
have. I love that, and
You're
I used
losing
it.
those?
What? No,
Try your-
those are the ones I bought recently.
Oh, okay.
No. The
Gotcha.
ones I've lost were like $1. I got them at like Old Navy on sale. They couldn't give them to me
I have
fast
a
enough.
weird segue for Megan. Do you have this is completely non sequitur and I apologize. Do you
Apologize,
have
I'm
like an off Twitch, off content day job? Like an office
No.
job or okay.
Not anymore. I used to be a barista. I worked at a local coffee shop.
Me
for a little bit.
too.
I really like that, but I hate working for people. I like the idea of like I'm very task oriented, like I'm good at that, and I'm very good at like jobs where I have to talk to people and be personable. And so I liked working at a coffee shop because I just had to like talk to people and get a list of stuff done.
Mhm.
But I didn't like that the owners were always stupid. I feel like no matter where where I've worked, like every place that I've worked at, every coffee shop that I've been to, the people that ran it were just fucking idiots sometimes. Like they just did stuff that you have never worked a shift here in your life, or like have genuinely tried to think about what would be a good way to do this for like your customers and your workers in some way, or you're just not being vocal about it in some manner. So I hated that aspect, and I feel like I always got to a time where I was like, you know what, I don't care anymore. Like it's not worth it. And then Twitch came along, and it was at that point it was pretty easy for me. I had enough subscribers to supplement what I was making at the
I'll have to DM you privately about what insurance you do. I don't know if that's appropriate for a podcast. That is
actually,
a sore
can you
spot
adopt
for me
me?
right
Would you adopt me so that I become a dependent on your? Or do you just want to get married and we can like pay
I'm
less in
dependent
taxes?
on my insurance. That's why it's good.
Will your parents adopt me?
So
No,
I think
go ahead.
you might be past the age range of being covered.
I am.
Yeah.
I think 26 is like the dependent cutoff.
Mhm.
Which
Yeah.
I'm 27, so now I pay from my own
my
insurance,
son
but-
is covered under his dad, and his dad has fucking incredible insurance. And thankfully, I would be looking for myself, and I'm relatively healthy, but it is a sore spot for me.
I totally took advantage, or I totally took for granted being a dependent on my dad. Yeah, like same thing. I mean, he's a surgeon. Like his insurance is unbelievable. And like now, and I didn't realize it at the time. Even when I was like 24, 25, right before the cutoff, and I was like working in healthcare, I didn't realize. Because I had health insurance through my company, which was also really good. But like, had I known, I think I would have just started going to like every like specialists I didn't even need, you know.
Yeah.
Like I remember though that I like when I started, like the second I started like vocal lessons, like I went to like an ENT like every 3 months in ear, nose, and throat to get scoped because I had like kind of an issue on my vocal folds and I got so paranoid. But the insurance paid for it, you know.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna keep going.
Why not? Yeah.
Now
Might as well.
Yeah, it's.
now I can't do that.
I just want to be able to pay. Like, I don't want free insurance necessarily. I might get controversial here, but I don't want to have to pay so fucking much for it. Like, that's it. Like, I just need it at a reasonable cost. That's it. But we'll see how the job search pans out.
Yeah, I'm currently in that situation too. I'm looking for a job. The job hunting sucks. You want to? It's because like actually, you know the worst part.
Because
I think
it's
about
an
job hunting?
actual fucking industry and technique to look for jobs and to do all this. It's an actual thing.
It's an actual and and people are trying to fake you out. Like, you ever get those emails that are like the subject of, or it's sent from? It just says Sarah, or it just says Nick. And then like as if it's a friend, right? That it's sent from an email that's like some random, you know, and then it's from Nick, so it makes you think like, oh, who's a Nick? It's not a business. And then like the subject's like, hey, I found this for you, and obviously you're not supposed to open that shit, but it's like, hey, I have this job opportunity for you, and it's like a call center drone for minimum wage, and it's just like, I hate that they send emails, and they always come through because of like Indeed and Monster.com, like all those. You know, those sites. So it's so sketchy.
I got offered
So
a job
just
as a
started-
realtor today. I'm like,
Do you have a realtor license?
no, but it's one of those things where if you're in a big enough like firm, they would certify you. If they thought you
certify.
like, but I'm like, I don't know. I think the point
You
is
should do
to
it
get
and
a
then
stable.
give away a house, and then.
Dude,
when
I've
they
always
fire
thought
you-
I'd be good as a realtor. There's so many. That's my thing about being a musician is I'm like, you know what? There are so many jobs that, like,
The
I'm
skills
sure
are
I could just
applicable.
do. Yeah, like it's like I could be a realtor for the rest of my life and make make enough money to live and have a house and like be comfortable. Or like I could get a job as a salesperson somewhere or like do something else, and I can do that at any point in time. So why spend like most of my life or like the prime time of my life doing that when I can just wait until I'm forced to, if I'm ever forced to, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm in the
I think
situation
that-
of being forced to. So
Yeah, me too. Why do
I have a
I
little
hate
kid. I have a
fucking-
little kid.
I think being an artist, like it comes with a level of like a high baseline of eccentricity and entertainment value that companies find very attractive, especially ones where there's a end user to employee interface, like direct interaction, like just
I deal with the
You know, like-
goddamn customers, so the engineers don't have to.
exactly. It's like when I worked, when I worked at the hospital, like I spent a lot of time talking to patients because like, you know, you just as like I mean, obviously I'm being a little tooting my own horn here a little bit, but I'm like good at entertaining. Like I can diffuse really easily.
You're a nice
like,
person. You're
yeah,
charismatic.
you know. Yeah, I can make
That's
them
a
laugh. I can
skill.
smile. I can, you know, like they can't really pull shit over my eyes. Like it's a way to be able to navigate a conversation with nuance, and that comes like, you know, I think any type of performer has that in their back pocket if need be, to be able to read your audience and do what you got to do.
It works a
Um,
lot in sales, I think. You
Yeah.
know, especially. But sales jobs are not necessarily stable ones. They're often commission ones. And there's often a sliminess attached to it. You know what I mean?
I want to be a car salesman.
A used car salesman.
Not so much used. I just want to be a car salesman.
Love-
That's like a
Yeah.
high end car salesman. I want to be a high end
Dude,
car salesman.
Why haven't you done that? You'd be so
I'm working on it.
You
I'm
would be
working on it
amazing.
actually. There's some coals in the fire. Yeah, or in the oven.
Yeah, like a high end one. Like you go find a place that sells a bunch of really cool sports cars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm liking this idea for you, Ty.
I,
And then
I,
you put that in your Tinder profile.
I'm pretty good at
oh my
selling-
god, I could finally.
So I've
find-
always wanted to work at a cars like dealership, but I don't know anything about cars. So there's like no way that I could bullshit my way through that interview. Like, yeah, I definitely know the difference between a V8.
So you're the opposite of the character on My Cousin Vinny, the Marissa Tomei character. Have you guys seen that movie? Liddy finally made me watch it the other day. She was so funny. But she's like kind of a ditz, but then she just has an encyclopedic knowledge of cars.
That's like
so that is not Megan.
No, I don't know anything about cars whatsoever.
I just like that's all. I mean, you should see. I mean, I can turn this.
Turn your
Hopefully it doesn't
camera.
shut
Turn
off.
your goddamn camera.
all my-
Get in there. Get in there.
all my
what a
little,
fucking
all my this one up
nerd.
here. Boom. And the funny thing about these two up here, I bought these. I think I mentioned this last time from the U.S. the United States Postal Service, the USPS. They're selling them on their
Yeah.
site, and I was like, the United States Postal Service sells model cars. I must own these, and I bought 3 of each one. I have
3?
boxes because
Why
I was like, because
3?
they're limited. Because they're limited
Oh.
edition.
And you're a nerd who wanted to
You are a
collect.
Fucking
Fucking
nerd.
nerd.
Look at my there's my racing rig. There's a picture of my car right here behind me with the tail of the dragon.
It's looking
license
yellow
plate
in
on it.
this picture, by the way.
I hate you. They were telling me for the longest time that it was green, and I'm colorblind. And I'm like, no, I bought it. And you know,
Oh.
and the thing is, I know it's yellow because they only made 159 Rio Yellow Pearl Honda S2000 Club Racers, and they only made them in Rio Yellow Pearl, metallic white, this like blue color, and black. So they make it in a green.
Really,
Suck it.
because I see a blue back there.
This was a sore subject because he had like a yellow
It is
water
a sore-
bottle.
His stomach sinks. What?
Like,
I
it
have
looks-
a blue one.
You know what's funny? That bottle that you all were fucking. I left that at Raquel. Actually, me and Raquel. So we went up to this, like we went tubing in the mountain. I'm sure. Did she tell you about this? We went
No.
tubing, and we were like, you know, you float on a tube on a river for like 2 hours. It's so redneck. I love it.
I wanted
And
to.
I
um,
love floating.
wanna
it,
do
it was
that.
so, yeah. We like literally we like may or may not gotten really high, and we're like just gonna float down the river, and we did. And I brought that water bottle, the yellow one, and I filled it with like a vodka soda or something. And then I didn't even drink it. I left it in the car, and then I was like, you know what? So I don't leave it in the car again. Let me put it in whose bag? One like somebody's bag, not Raquel's, somebody
Mhm.
else's, who then ended up going back to Birmingham, Alabama. Anyways, I lost that bottle. I no longer own it. It is somewhere filled with alcohol, somewhere in Alabama, and I'm never getting it back. So
Someone in Alabama has your alcohol. Damn.
yeah, if I had $1, right?
What would you drink when you were tubing? Like, was that beer? Is that shandy? Is that
Whatever
like?
you want.
I was gonna just do I think I was gonna do like a vodka Diet Coke. But
Ooh.
like I can't drink
Yeah.
like beer. I drink like whiskey and vodka and you know. that
Megan,
type
what
of
do
shit
you
just
like to
'cause of
drink?
keto.
I don't really like alcohol.
Okay.
I don't mix
okay.
well with alcohol.
Mm.
And it ends up making me feel more sick than like the fun that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stopped doing it.
I
was
hate the
like,
taste of
"No."
beer. Like I just
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It tastes gross. All alcohol tastes disgusting. Why do I want to force myself to drink something gross?
That's fair.
Where I'm gonna feel like shit the next morning. Like,
I got that
You're
way
gonna
in
hate me for
music
saying
school.
this. You're gonna hate me for saying this, Megan. I've come full circle where I prefer to be slightly buzzed, not drunk, than being high.
Hmm.
I just,
that's
you
pretty
know how little, but you personally have seen how little of a threshold I have. I am the biggest lightweight when it comes to weed. When we were at PAX, I didn't even, I'm surprised I even made it home alive. And that was like from the one we shared that pre-roll.
you
We-
seemed fine.
I wasn't fine. And that's, but like in reality, like jokes aside, I only get tired. No matter what strain, no matter what. You know, I only get fucking ridiculously tired. I first go blind and then I get tired.
Oh,
I'd rather just like have a whiskey on the rocks and just, you know, be a little buzzed for a while. Because
Mhm.
it's familiar.
I had never been high until Liddy,
He's a bad influence on you.
because I was married to a very straight-laced guy.
oh, that's
So
upsetting.
yeah.
I always knew Liddy would ruin your life. Now I'm
Well,
hoping he'd
actually,
ruin
the
mine.
straight-laced one was the one who ruined my life. Hey.
Hey, sound effect.
Yeah, I did it.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
I did it. I did the but
Oh, Megan, your hair looks fucking fly.
For a white
I
guy?
saw your long
Yeah,
and
fly
short
for a white guy.
post.
What?
Megan with long hair is like,
It's a
Oh my
different-
god, I
was a
love the
trend.
photos. I don't recognize you. It's awesome.
I was a
Like
different-
you look so
One day I'll
different.
start growing my hair out again. I'm gonna disappear from the internet for a year and come back as long hair Megan again.
People are gonna like report you missing. They'll be like, some girl just, some lizard person has taken over Megan's stream.
Exactly.
Are you staying that hair color for a while? Or are you gonna go back to blonde?
I don't know. I'm kind of into like not having to do anything to my hair. Like it's very
That's
nice. We'll see if I get bored. When I get bored of this hairstyle, I will probably bleach my hair again.
mhm.
And then who knows what I'll do. I'm also kind of in like, because I'm letting it grow out, and the haircut that I got kind of a bowl cut last time, and so it's growing out really, really well. Like
okay.
it was like the perfect length on the sides to now evenly grow out everywhere. And so it's very like, I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to grow it out and see if I can pull off like fuckboy middle part. You know what I'm talking about?
Like 90s skater
What's
boy,
the name
like
of that?
center part.
No, who's the name
Yeah,
of that
well,
Backstreet Boy?
I'm kind of thinking, like, just to, because I'm kind of curious what it would look like. Or just what my hair's gonna do if it's a little bit longer than this, to where it'll like stay back if I push it back.
Oh, I've always wanted. My hair's
Mm.
too wavy. Like I can't. It won't. Like if I were to grow it out, it doesn't just start to fall back.
Oh,
it,
see, yeah,
it
mine
just
will if I
puffs
get long-
out.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah,
it.
mine will if I get it, if it gets long enough. I am very lucky. My hair just kind of does whatever I want it to.
Mine does not. It's just it's Medusa hair. I try as much as I can to get it as short as possible. My stylist is like, no, your hair
She's
is
like
so
yeah,
thick.
trying to do you a
Just
favor.
like-
She's like, no.
No, well, because it's so thick and coarse, it would just, I don't even know what it would look like if it was Megan's
Ashley
length.
would have an afro.
It wouldn't even be an
Ashley
afro.
fro.
It would just be like, it would look like a house plant or something. I don't know. It was
A succulent.
succulent.
A succulent. Can I ask you a personal question, Megan?
Sure.
Are you single?
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
Just curious.
I am. I mean, why would you? I don't
know.
want. Here's
You know
another-
why? It's because I don't want to like because if you are like, I don't want people to have to expose that like to the world. You know, some people don't want to broadcast their
If
No,
there's
I'm
different
single.
feelings
I'm
about
happy.
that.
I'm fucking who am I gonna date during quarantine? Dating
I
someone
don't
right
know.
now?
People have found ways. I mean, I
Like,
haven't, but I
I don't
also didn't find a way
understand it.
before.
I went on one like Tinder video chat thing date, and it was the fucking weirdest thing I've ever done in my life. I was like, this is fucking weird. I'm not gonna meet someone for the first time on a blind video call. Like, this is fucking weird. And it made me it wasn't fun. And then ever since
That
that,
sounds unfun to me.
like,
if I'm
you
being
know,
honest.
and even when I'm bored and you do that, like, okay, I'm gonna swipe through Tinder because I'm really bored.
I do that all
Even
the
at-
time.
Like, I get like one or two in, and I'm like, why am I fucking doing this? It's not like I'm gonna hang
So
out with
much-
any of these people right now. Like,
You must
That's
quarantine
what-
for 2
yeah.
weeks.
yeah,
Or have the full body condom. I've brought
yeah,
this
like,
up a
no,
couple
I'm not gonna
times.
fucking do that. Like, nah,
would
fuck
you?
it.
Would you date another Twitch streamer?
Depends, I guess, on the streamer.
Ninja. No, I'm just kidding.
Ninja Jesus. You can fuck right off with that, Ty.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the circumstance. I would have to feel like they're a mutual, because I don't ever want these parasocial relationships are so like it's inevitable on Twitch.
Yeah.
And so I don't want there to be like feel like there's like an abuse of power in any sort
Power
of way.
dynamic. Yeah.
Or yeah,
Let
or
me
if
tell
there's
you.
any sort of admiration in the sense of like, oh, I'm super excited because I'm dating Megan kind of thing. Like,
Yeah. This is why I turned down Dr. Lupo, because I was
Huh?
like, that's why I turned down Dr. Lupo. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, you're not like he was gonna get jealous of me. I'm clearly, of the money that's pouring in from all of my subs, and Lupo was just gonna, anyways, no, and it was gonna get messy because I'm pretty sure he has a wife and kids. It was just all.
I feel
so I was
the
like,
same-
no.
I understand. It makes sense.
And
Yeah, I get it.
there's a certain level of understanding there with another Twitch streamer, like of the lifestyle, but I feel the same way that I would be about me dating another singer.
Mhm.
Wait a minute, I'm dating another Twitch. Okay, never mind. But there can be like a competition, like this person is better than me, and
I
So
want
that
to. I
could
just
get
want to date a
tricky.
musician so we can collaborate, and I don't have to like.
I think
Also, part of
that's
me want to date another musician because for the competition aspect. I don't know
Exactly.
if I
That's
can.
true.
That's like.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why I couldn't. I always said I couldn't like. Yeah.
I'm also kind of in the realm of like, it's not really worth putting any sort of like, I want to date this type of person. Like, I would never date a Twitch streamer or another musician or another this or another that, because if you say that, you're just going to inevitably fall in love with that type of person.
Right.
You know?
that's
Yeah,
what happens when
I-
you make a plan.
Yeah. I probably will. Never like. That's why I never could date an actor, and I tried
Okay, Ty, here's
as an actor, and I couldn't.
the plan. Me and you are just going to get platonically married.
Okay.
Just like Cole
Alright.
Porter
I'm
and
totally
his wife from like 100 years ago. Like,
Platonically married. It'll be an open marriage, so we can just be involved with whoever we want, and we'll like come home at the end of the day and love each other. It'll be great.
And
you
we
guys
just
have
hang out and-
cuddles? Do you guys
Yeah,
cuddle?
we'll cuddle and watch movies, and we can cuddle with the doggo, who is off
Honestly-
breaking something of mine, I'm sure. Oh no, wait, no, he was under my feet. He's disappeared. I just want to wear a ring.
Okay.
I think I just want to wear a ring.
I don't.
Will you get me? But like I've talked about this on this podcast. I want like when like I get proposed to, I want a big ass rock. I want a woman's engagement ring, and I know that's so super superficial and shallow.
Because
Like,
I want
always
a
wanted one.
male's engagement ring.
Really?
This is kismet.
It's worth it. We'll have beautiful children that will.
We will.
This is mine.
Jesus Christ.
I still have this. I need
We'd have
to. I need
wonderful
to figure out what
children.
to do with this.
We'd have super children. They'd be super.
You
Your
would.
ring. Can I have it?
Guys, can we have a discussion about what I'm supposed to do with this thing now? Because I could
Sell
benefit
it.
financially from selling it, but then there's also the sentimental value of like maybe passing it on to my son.
Pass it on to your son.
Yeah, I could get
I mean,
rid of.
if you're pressed for money, And like obviously some, you know,
Yeah, maybe just keep it with that idea. Like you wouldn't
Yeah.
feel as bad about pawning that if you really, really had to. You know?
Right. Yeah.
because if you obviously like the money you'd get from it is going to go back into doing something for your son, you know, whether it be establish a trust, something for college, or even just, you know, supporting him in what he does. Either way, so like
Yeah.
the sentimental can come out of that. You know,
That's
like
true.
this, it's not so much that it's specifically a diamond ring as much as, you know, being able to give your son something that's memorable. So, you know,
It's not
maybe think about it
associated
that
with
way.
like something broken. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
My chat's saying
Or
to
send it
like
to me, give me
melt
a
it down
diamond.
and put it in my teeth. I'm not
Ooh.
sure about that.
Make a grill.
Fuck yeah, make a grill out of it. Just scratch all that bullshit I just said. Make a grill.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Make
Yeah,
a
no.
grill that
Yeah.
says bitch. So you can just
Yeah. Whore.
So every time my ex-husband comes
Cum
over, I
slut.
smile. I'll be like, look.
Yeah, it's
Look what I
just,
did with
you
your
are
ring.
bitch.
Bitch, but the I dot is the diamond. So it's like all gold and
Can you pawn bathwater? I would not be sitting here right now. I would be
Pawn
a fucking
bathwater.
millionaire in Tahiti if I could pawn my bathwater. Let's be honest.
Yo, okay, so before I can't remember if we went if the mics were hot when we were just talking about this, but so you guys were saying I need to start an OnlyFans. What photos do I take? As an like, let's say I wanted to do an
Oh,
OnlyFans. How do I take photos for it?
You take like I already told you, you gotta take like the sexy you take like the sexy IT guy. So
Right.
you could do like you're in like a
Like that thing like gamer girls always do. They're like what is that? That's not what.
But
Well,
you're
my
not the
question
gamer.
is it video or picture based or is it both?
both. You
Okay.
can do whatever you want. I think
Okay.
there's also live streams.
Okay.
I
Because
think
there's another
I'm not-
streaming platform
I'm
called
too
Plex
scared
Store.
to subscribe to anyone on OnlyFans because like how the fuck are you supposed to explain that on your taxes? Like
For work.
like honestly
it's
how
a
do you
tax
say that, like,
deductible. It's
what
for
is this
work.
OnlyFans?
But think of that in the reverse.
was
Like, how do you
fraud.
explain that to your accountant? Like, oh, I'm an adult
That's not
content
me.
creator.
yeah.
I think I subscribed to Pornhub for a month when I was in Costa Rica. Why
Because
the fuck did I just say that? Only, but here's why.
we learn something
Because
new
I
about
wanted
you
to watch
every
porn.
time, Ty. Do you have to subscribe to Pornhub though to get the job done?
No.
I
No,
normally.
the reason why I wanted to do is because you do if you want to download a video.
But who downloads porn
Yeah.
anymore, Ty?
Because I was in Costa
You know?
Rica. They don't have the internet's not exactly wide reaching there.
Oh, so you had to make sure you had
It
enough.
was an
porn?
insurance, future insurance. I am a depraved lunatic. Don't act surprised, people. If that I wanted, like this is, you know what? This
What?
shows that I was planning ahead. That I'm a planner. That I have got shit in order, right?
For your sex
You know,
life.
the worst. You don't want the worst case scenario where you show up in Costa Rica and you don't have any porn.
It just takes that
You
much
could've, like,
longer,
bought
Ty.
it- I'm sure you could have bought a porn mag somewhere.
Where am I gonna get a porn mag in the rainforest?
You were in the rainforest.
I was in the rainforest.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. It's a good
So
point.
you know,
I mean,
you're in the
if
rainforest and
thinking
like you
under
gotta.
that logic, where did you have an outlet to charge your phone if you were in the rainforest?
Oh.
That's true. That's true. The solar.
So I'm assuming you had to be by some
I
civilization.
was. Well, I was. It was like a solar run bungalow. So it had like basic power.
How about your imagination?
It's not good enough.
You need just one. Was it the same video or was
Yes.
it multiple? It
No,
was,
it was one video.
Just the one
It's my
video.
go-to.
You have
It's
a
actually
go-to
one
video?
specific guy.
Oh,
He's the hottest guy. He has actually an interesting story. I don't think I should go. I don't think I should talk about the background story of a porn.
I
star
can't
that know.
believe you know the background story of a porn actor.
Does that make it hotter for you?
It does because the story is
It's like
really
a
hot.
deeper relationship with you.
It is. Well, no, okay, I'll talk about it for the sake of the story. So this porn actor, and I'm not gonna say his name, but maybe I could. It doesn't matter. But he like was a military. He was in the military. He was like a soldier, and he met his husband in the military, and he ended up like doing multiple tours, and then he got out of the military and decided him and his husband they just decided they were gonna like start doing porn, and obviously they're too hot, they're fucking hot, it was gonna work, and they both started doing porn. Like it was his husband. Like they just did porn together. Like what? Talk about lucrative. That's just using your resources. Anyways,
Yeah.
I think that's very
boundaries.
cool.
I think
Like,
you could do,
imagine-
like you could do like sexy IT guy, like. Obviously, you do a sexy tiger. You get Tigger outfit. You get like the
The hoodie and.
yeah, and
Did you check your router?
the.
What's your upload speed?
Does he fix the
And then
cable?
Yes.
You just take like tasteful nudes, right? Just take pictures.
Tasteful nudes.
You bending
Uh,
over to look at the said router. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. Whoops.
then
I
the,
dropped
you have
the
to subscribe
Ethernet.
to some OnlyFans accounts to get some inspiration.
I will. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I do have a Patreon with $1,000 top tier that I don't remember what I put in it, and so this has been an ongoing challenge.
that
for
is
the
a meme. That is a meme in
community.
this channel. Is Ty's paywall? Do you have Patreon,
Somebody's got-
Megan?
I do. I don't really use it. I actually feel bad. I've been thinking about deleting it lately because I don't post enough to it.
Well, we had a guest on Loki Doki. He does. It's just a mode of support. He doesn't put anything on it necessarily
Interesting.
because he
It
doesn't want
was
to
like
put
a more
content.
concrete like donation goal thing, like you know he can show right. He was talking about how it goes towards buying a house. Was that what he was saying? So like
Well, that's
people
something
can.
separate.
Okay.
That was like that's an overall donation goal, but then more of the money from Patreon goes towards the one being supported than say a Twitch.
Oh yeah, because Twitch takes half of our shit.
Yay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fucked
interesting. So
up.
he uses
forgot
that
about
for
that.
more like personal things,
Yeah, and
Instead of,
s- Yeah, I get-
business related stuff.
yeah, he has like 15-year-old viewers who don't necessarily have the means to
Oh.
get to access some content, so he doesn't want to sorry, I got interrupted by sub alert. Thank you so much, Pop and Buckets. No, he said I want any of my fans to be able to see all of my content rather
Oh.
than putting some of it behind a paywall. So it just depends on your strategy and what you're comfortable with.
Interesting.
I was told to put like my cosplay pictures on a Patreon. I'm like, but that could turn into a slow tumble into something else.
Mm-hmm.
Porn.
I don't know. I think it
And
just
next thing you
depends
know,
on the
somebody's
work.
downloading your videos in Costa Rica, like a depraved.
That's definitely
lunatic.
what we learned
You
here,
wouldn't be
is that
downloading. You would be downloading the Liddy videos, Ty. Come on, get out of here.
Oh yeah, but you'd be in the videos with Liddy, so ultimately you'd be there.
Would that be a thing for you though? Like,
No,
yeah, no.
no, it wouldn't. Okay, but I would do it out of curiosity. Like I'd. No, I wouldn't. I
would
would
you
never
time
wa-
yourself, Ty? Like,
I wouldn't be able to watch y'all if you put out a porn. I could never. I have a couple friends who have nude, like OnlyFans, like with tasteful nudes, and I can't even subscribe. Like attractive people, like,
Yeah.
and I just can't do it because I don't know why. I don't know. It's that whole like friend barrier. I don't think I could
Yeah.
look at somebody the same. But like, which sucks
After
because
seeing them
I
naked.
feel like I don't know. Maybe I'll get
Uh,
drunk and do it. We'll see.
I gotta bail though. Thank you guys
She's
for
gonna jet.
having me
Megan,
on. Though. I love
You
talking
are
with
an angel.
You
Thank you for
guys
coming
are
on.
angels.
no, you.
I know.
Thank you for
Great
chatting.
chatting.
Perfect chatting.
Guys, please go follow Megan Lenius. What was I gonna say? She's an extremely talented musician. At the very base of it all, she puts out incredible music. She's got it out on streaming sites, Spotify. Go check her out. Check her out on YouTube. Check her out on all socials because she's really pretty and like really
Well,
cool.
we can
And she
see
takes
that
the
right
most
now.
amazing selfies.
Really pretty and really cool. Wow.
Mhm.
I know. I'm cashing in all my friendship points.
Yes.
Right.
You owe me
You
a lot of
got- you
compliments
just
now.
Gained 50,000 today.
That's all. That's what I brought you on for. It's transactional, a relationship.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thanks for
I
having
love
me
you.
on.
All right,
It was great
guys.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Megan.
Mwah.
It was a
Yeah,
pleasure to
thank
meet
you.
you.
Peace.
Peace.
All right,
Alright.
now I gotta fix.
I'm just transitioning.
That's what I gotta do. For those
and
on my
I wasn't
side,
ready,
just-
so now I have to fix. I
Neither,
messed
but they
up.
maybe we take a pee break. Maybe that's what we do while we get these
You
transitions
could
fixed.
take
Is that
a.
okay?
You could take a pee break. I will just
I'll stay with you. I can hold out.
You can hold
I
out
just
for
wanna-
40 minutes.
I can just
Guys,
do.
we're professional.
I forgot that this was gonna happen.
I remembered and I thought it was set and I was really wrong. And it wasn't.
Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna
And then
do
this needs to
a little bit
disappear.
of doodly dop. It's a little bit of a boodle bop
There it goes.
over here.
There, professional streamer.
Boom. Sometimes my genius terrifies me, even me.
Yeah, I'm really glad she answered the question about the looper so honestly, so frankly, because
Yeah.
that wasn't even something I thought about, but I really want to explore looping.
And I think that it's like a baseline, like somewhere to start.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's really, yeah, the honest. Hold on, sorry, I'm almost done fixing my shit. I'm trying to like talk at the same time. This has proven really difficult. I'm not a good multitasker. You can ask literally anybody who
You
knows
can
me.
ask anybody who knows me too.
But her ability to answer honestly and be like, look, I mean, the looper is a baseline. It's very easy to fall into it like a crutch, like anything, you know. Because there is a
Learn the
sense of
instrument.
like simplicity and ease with it, you know. And but like, how can you elevate that, you know? And I think that's the question everybody needs to be asking Twitch in general, not just music. It's like, how can you elevate something? Great, you can play a video game. How do you do something different? Because you'll get drowned, you know. And
Yeah.
if you want to keep it simple, you know, that's totally fine. But yeah, like I think the looper is a cool way to approach it. And then, you know, like I think that your idea with Foggy is a fantastic idea. Nobody's doing that.
What was that show on the Muppets where the two critics are like yelling at each other? You know what I mean? Have you ever seen that?
Those old men in the theater booth,
Yes,
the box.
the theater. Oh
Yeah.
my god, the
I forget
trope
what
is
they're
there.
called.
Don't help me. But in the Muppet Christmas Carol, they were the Marley brothers. It wasn't just Marley. I think there was only one Marley in the original Christmas Carol movie, story, book, novel. And then they just turned them into the Marley brothers, and it was hilarious. Statler and Waldorf. Thank you, call me Tiny. Always there for me. Are you a Muppets fan, Ty?
I am, and I so me and my brother, we used to watch Muppet Treasure Island or play Muppet Treasure Island, like the PC game, all the fucking time. To the point where we could like quote all the dialogue from that game. Yes, I'm a big Muppet fan. The Christmas Carol, Muppets Christmas Carol.
It's one of my
Shit's hot.
favorites. That's one of my favorites. We introduced my son. Like, I love those Christmas movies that, like, you don't know which ones are gonna land with your kids. Like, my son does not like A Christmas Story at all, but he loves Home Alone. And the physical comedy there, where the people are falling all the time, and all the, like, this is actually really violent. Joe Pesci, like, who got the iron to the face?
Oh my god.
The taller guy.
Yes. Oh yeah, he got brick after brick after brick. Not Joe Pesci, but the other dude.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, it's just funny because Joe Pesci's such a household name and nobody can remember the other one. The Wet Bandits.
And speaking of it wasn't Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny.
Yes.
That entire movie, like, I could not believe that Marissa Tomei and he were, like, married or having relations. I'm like, I'm not physically attracted to Joe Pesci. This does not make sense to me. I don't know.
This is confusing my body and brain.
And he wasn't even, like,
right,
a good
yes.
personality either. It was a... Yeah, My Cousin Vinny. Hey, Breaking Seth, what's going on?
Are you a horror movie fan?
No, but Lydia's.
I've been on like the biggest horror movie bender recently. Like I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping, not as a result of the scary movies, just, you know, anxiety, like just tough shit. And so I've started to fill the time with watching movies, and it's been really like, it's become such a comfort, and it's not a healthy comfort because I stay up way too late because the doggo. So I normally would get too scared to watch them alone, but now that I have a dog, that's
like,
enough.
I'm good.
I can watch it. And so I literally will watch like 9 straight hours of horror movies. Obviously, like that, and then I'm like, I have anxiety at night. Duh. But like, I can't stop. I literally, in like the past week, I've gone through all the Conjurings. I tweeted about this. All the Conjurings, all the Insidiouses, Sinisters, all the Annabelles, and then several other like standalone ones. Color Out of Space, which is like H.P. Lovecraftian one that's just fucked up.
Okay.
I watched just
This is
a
like
bunch
porn
of-
to Liddy's ears, by the way. Just keep going.
Oh my
He
god,
might dry
I
down.
love being scared. I love basking in that feeling of terror.
There-
Like it's almost sexual, and
Well, I was gonna
mean,
say there's a close relationship. Like horror
Yeah.
movies are almost an aphrodisiac. The feeling of fear is very.
like I literally like I've never because I've been watching them so much lately. It's been so concentrated, and so what's happened is, what I've started doing is like right in the height of the moment, I will like close my eyes and just like let all this like anxiety and fear in. Like I hate love it. It's so hard to describe. It's
So
like the whole
almost like, is it
masochism thing, I guess.
sadistic or masochistic, where it's like
I guess it's a little
self-inflicting?
masochistic, but like it's like I don't think it's that like it's like that, but it's not, I don't want to come across like it's this mega thing. It's almost like it gives me a little bit of like excitement to see how like it's almost like giving into it, right? Like you could sit there and then reason your logic your way out of a horror movie. You could be like, okay, well, ghosts don't exist, blah blah. But obviously I know that, but I love letting go of all logic and just letting my heart race, and like because it's a different feeling of like anxiety and fear, like that it's like it's fleeting. So I
Yeah.
just love to see how far I can push myself with it, and then like come down off that high.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. Like I'm not sitting there orgasming to these movies. I know I'm coming across it. It's like that, but it's just very subtle. It's just this like I love getting to that really scary point and then like looking around the room and being like, I feel really alive right now. I think it's just kind of when you feel that rush of emotions, whatever endorphins kind of fill your brain. I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm trying to convey, and I've been like living in that like as much as I can recently, and I think it's because
Is
of
it
this
kind of
whole
like roller coaster junkie?
Yes, I think that's a great way of saying it. It's that exactly what it is. It's like it builds and it builds and I breathe it in and then like it, I can release it. And it gives me just that nice sense of like of emotion. Like I can feel,
Like
it's
stimulation almost.
yeah, and especially on time because I spent a lot of time inside, and now that I'm an introvert, and
all-
like I have, yeah.
The
So now
introvert
it's like,
zombies we are now.
yeah, this is like how I feel. Oh my god, my life is so sad now. I don't care. It makes me happy.
I find myself looking at my phone so much. Even at like we were at Phoenix's this past weekend. I was looking at my phone a lot. That's the one thing I need to like work on is like I don't need to
too.
check Discord. I don't need to check Twitter. I need to be a more structured with that and get that stimulation out of my brain. Like
I think that for me, besides obviously a more steady income, I think the reason, look, one of the things, and I'm betting you feel the same way about like this job hunting, to get a job is like when you work a job and you're in that 9 to 5 grind, you're like you finally can let loose of that like compulsory need to check that stuff. You don't even realize you're doing it. It's not like I feel like, I'm like, I need to check it. It's like you don't realize you're on your phone. It's like I'll go out and walk my dog. Next thing I know, I've walked 100 yards checking Twitter, and I'm like, no, I'm outside with my puppy. Like, you don't even realize you're doing it. But the 9
what
to 5,
color
like,
is the sky?
yeah, it's like exactly, and I want an excuse to like to be off of that. Like I wanted something to, because I don't have the willpower enough to like put it away. I'm working on that, but then once I get the job,
Yeah.
I can just fill my brain with more stuff, so I don't have to dwell on what's being said on Twitter and all that nonsense.
There's
It's
also
all
like
trash.
an excessive need to like I'm guilty of this, like to document everything. Like, oh, this would be a funny Instagram post. Oh, I should put this on TikTok. Like
Yeah.
there's like a
Oh my
constant
God, yeah.
worrying, like and there needs to be like a shut off point. So
Yeah.
like for I mean, Lydia and I had that story going on Sunday where it's like, ask me anything, and then like someone said, fuck off Patriots, and there's fun shit like that. But it was really nice to just sit and watch football, NFL football, for the entire
Yeah.
day. Like, we didn't
Oh
do
my
anything.
god, yeah, and that's so nice and old school. Like I remember, yeah, just like those Sundays sitting inside, make some nachos or something in here. Dude, I sometimes I feel like Discord is a wonderful tool for society, and it's just going to be the downfall. And not so much Discord
Yeah.
as that style, because like at least with the other social medias like Instagram, it's like a snapshot of what's going on in real life, but you can't live inside of Instagram. it's too
No.
limited of what it provides in terms of like, stimulation content. Discord's so all encompassing. You can live in Discord, much like VR chat. Like you can live in Discord. You can post photos, videos, voice chat. I mean, it's everything. It's like being at a party without physically
Right.
being there. You can do everything else. You can eat
Right.
together, watch movie, like share your screen. And that's been a godsend for like people who need it and who need it for growth and need it like physically, like for those who have social anxiety, for those who with disability. Like I mean, it is important that society has something as well equipped as Discord. But I swear to God, we are so addicted, all of us, addicted to what it is. It scares me sometimes because like that's where all my interaction is now, all of it. And
Yeah.
like maybe it's depressing to think about, but like it scares me sometimes.
Yeah, well, because here's what happened. Like, kind of last fall, there was some drama, and like kind of a Discord community was kind of taken. I felt the rug come out from underneath me, and your social interactions, like right now, I think we're all kind of leaning on it, but there has to be reality in this, in your social interactions, even especially now. Like it was so nice to be around Phoenix and Goose and I got to meet Just J Mart and all these other people. It's there's something different seeing someone and feeding off an energy or giving a hug.
Yeah. Oh my God. The person. Oh yeah. Somebody like the value of a hug. I swear, people have grown to appreciate it more. I mean, it just like it's healing.
It's high risk behavior right now to do like what I did on Saturday, like, to sing in a room with 7 other people and then, and to give hugs and share food and dip. But like, you know what? Something's going to get you, like the emotional depression of like being so isolated. Like that's a thing. That is an absolute fucking thing.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to judge after being in it, in the situations that we're in, especially like just being alone for so long, like the loneliness would kill me before anything else does. And that's not the attitude to have about like, there's a global pandemic, and I hate that that's where my brain is, but I see exactly why you did. I would absolutely do the same thing. I mean, I go hang out with Raquel and several of our mutual friends, and it's like without that, I don't know what I would do. I genuinely I could not be alone that long. It would be dangerous to my health. And and there's something about that real life that it's vital.
Well, we were talking about that, or like Revelos mentioned it earlier in chat. Like we grew up tribal. Well, not grew up. We evolved in a tribal way, And you think about like these tribes that still exist in Africa, and I think about this like the child rearing process is probably the biggest place where you see this. Like women in Western culture are very isolated when they're parents because they're home all the time, but like in these communities in third world countries, like there's tons of women around helping out,
like the indigenous like village mentality.
Yeah. Like, there's like they'll be holding the baby while the mom is doing something, or like what I mean.
Right.
It's a hard thing to describe. We think of ourselves as so superior, but we lack in so many ways. And this is something that's very simple. It's like, caring for a mother who's given birth. It's like, well, it's clear that like as a society, we work so hard to have the ability to isolate ourselves, but still be connected to the world. The fact that we're able to do what we're doing now, sit alone in a room and have access to literally every ounce of information and communication in the entire planet. But we have the luxury of telling everybody to fuck off and not be here with us while we do it. That's go for a walk outside. Yeah, Toby is in the VR chat world, and he's like, it's really, really not the same. But I could see getting totally engrossed in that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's so easy to do, like especially. Oh, I just shook my whole entire fucking world. I kicked my desk. I was trying not to kick my dog. He's laying literally underneath me.
Aww.
I know he's keeping my toesies warm because it's cold over here. So, oh man, what was I gonna say? So, like regarding the relationships in Discord, that's so easy to do this, and I've talked about it before, and hell, I think you and I talked about it.
Yeah.
This whole idea of like love dumping, right? Like we're so itching for like finding our tribe, finding our people, and the internet and Twitch, and like we've really
You have
funneled
access
it
to
in.
people with similar interests.
That you're like, oh my god, I'm finally here. Here is all of my love and emotion and trauma, blah blah blah. Here it is. I want you to understand every ounce of who I am because I finally found you, not as like a relationship or a lover, but like literally just from the sense of like friendship. I want you to understand me, and then you kind of have this transaction of like personal information and trauma that like normally. And this is stuff that I had to work through with my therapist. So this is not something of my own observation. I was not that keen to it until, somebody pulls you back from it or something bad happens where you're like, fuck, now I see behind the curtain. Where like you meet those people and then, you work through like a normal friendship in real life, like in physical real form, a friendship that normally would take like a year of trust, of growing that trust, right? Like you and you sometimes, in the real world, you meet each other and you're unsure, and then after a month, you see each other once a month, and then maybe you hang out every weekend, and then all of a sudden one of you breaks your trust and you don't see each other for another month, and it rebuilds and stronger, and then 2 years go by and you're like best friends and nothing will shake that. You can scream at each other, blah blah blah. And a lot of times that those steps are rushed in a world where you have like you're like just in this instant gratification that comes along with like social media and like Discord, and that you can share, like everybody wants to share that immediately, like almost like that way you're kind of tied together, to like trying to force this two peas in a pod mentality. And so then when something crumbles and like something small happens, like a little piece of gravel in the cog, like a slight distrust, it collapses because it was like this feigned trust. And I think you understand exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
And it's so dangerous. And it sucks and it breaks your heart. And like everybody ends up hurt. Nobody
I
wins
fucking
out
can't with that. I mean, that's the thing. And I think being able to measure, like, make an assessment of someone before you really invest. I am someone who is slower to get to know people now because I was involved with a guy who like said he wanted to marry me before we even met, and I'm like, no. That didn't feel
Red
good to me
flag.
at the time. But first of all, that's a red flag, ladies.
Yeah.
Narcissist. But anyway, so I don't know. I'm being very much more measured and much more introverted since a lot of things happened, and it's a shame. It really, really is a shame. But you see the value in that. You see the value in those slower relationships, and the people who stick around after 6 months, and it's a certain pattern. Like, I don't want to pigeonhole people who wear their heart on their sleeves and say that's bad, or who are quick to attach or whatever, but there's something to be said about that. But
yeah, I mean, like and I don't even want it to be accused toward anybody. I know that I've done it to people, but people have also done it to me. It's like this forced codependency, and then the second it's not there, all of a sudden because you put all your eggs in that basket, and you feel like it's just this huge deal, and but you like it was bound to collapse at some point. It's like, yeah, that like we as in a society, like community, I don't know, like I don't want to, because I'm calling myself out on this, is that like I fell into that, and then all of a sudden it went away, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Well, you have to think about
what
your
did I get myself into?
condition. Like, was there a vacuum there? Were you susceptible to it? And certainly I was.
Yeah.
Certainly I was
absolutely.
right for the picking.
I opened myself up to that.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. Like I love, having friends, and like we all love that. So like absolutely, I'd open myself up to it. And the problem is, it's like maybe I should have understood this person better and spent more time learning about how they tick and how we work together. And at the time, when things fell apart, it'd be easy for me to be like, fuck them, they fucked me over, blah blah. But
that person's just an asshole.
They were always the person of who they are. Well, yeah, and they were always that person. They didn't like, maybe whatever changes, but maybe they didn't change. But I never took the long enough time period to understand how, like, maybe it was a long time coming. Maybe it was going to happen anyways, and I had spent so much time trying to force it to happen that I didn't prepare myself that it might not work.
Well,
and
there's so much you can conceal even in an online relationship. I am a habitual like meeting people online, and that's who I am. I don't know why my MO is that way, but that's maybe it's a common interest. But people present different ways when you're physically in their presence, in particular when you're living with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And I think and what you said, I mean, the exact same way now. I don't know if you call it it's not even calculated, to be honest. I think I scare myself because I feel like this introvertedness what came along with it was this
Defense mechanism.
Well, yeah, it feels like I kind of just want to push people away now. Like, I don't want to, like, it doesn't feel calculated in how I meet somebody. It just feels cold, and I don't like that. I want to work through that. Does that make sense? Like, I just end up being cold. And
Well, you're trying
it'd
to
be
gain
different if I
some
was
kind
like
of control over it.
What?
Do you think it's kind of more of like a control, like in the function of pushing people away? When I think about this a lot, because I have a sister who self-sabotages a lot. If you end it, then that gives you the control over it. Like, well, it was my fault, and that's so somewhat.
You know what? Yeah.
With job hunting, like for me, I could just say, well, I failed because I didn't try. I think trying and then failing is far more painful than not at all, and being like, well, I just didn't try. The potential was there. Like, we love to stew in our own social and professional potential.
Yeah,
you know?
like you don't want a concrete answer of failure. You'd rather live in the not knowing sometimes, like the Schrodinger's cat, right? Like, if I don't check, there's no definite answer that it's not there. It's
Right.
like, you expect a really terrible text to come in, so you just don't check your phone all day, and you know what I mean? Or you don't want somebody to call you, so you turn your phone off, and you can't tell if they called or not, so you can't even be yelled at for avoiding. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that. I get that.
I do that. I did that in my somewhat emotionally abusive, toxic relationship. I would just turn the phone off, and then the person, because I didn't want, I got so addicted to that person getting in contact with me, like texting. He would text me from 7:30 in the morning till 11:30 at night and be like, are we going to play Fortnite today? Blah, blah, blah. That was the first mistake. Never date Fortnite players. I digress.
Yeah. We need a list of like red flags that we should like.
This is our countdown. This is our countdown.
Yes. We need to have a countdown segment on
Top
every
10
single
red
one.
flags. No.
10 red flags.
Fortnite players saying they want to marry you before you're even met.
And it's like it's like a Venn diagram. If those three things, like the person who you played Fortnite with, who who wanted to marry you before you even met,
who was also like, married themselves.
The same person.
It was such a Jerry Springer episode. I fucking can't. Let's see. Toby just asked a question. Would you guys consider yourselves to be very different people online when compared to your offline interactions? No. It depends on the level of trust. The more mellow I can be with you, the more I trust you. Online or offline? I don't know.
That's such a hard question, because I think we'd all love to be like, no, we're identical, but I think you and like I think I and you do the same, because we're performers. We definitely, the first thing we do is observe our audience. Depending on who I'm with changes how dark my humor is, how flamboyant I am as a a non-binary queer person. Like, I love, when I go out with my gay friends to the club and like I'm tipsy, like I'm a whole nother creature versus like, only because like all my inhibitions are gone. Right. And nothing holds me back, and I'd love to live like that all the time, but that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And it's not that I'm not like, it sucks in the world we live in. Like down here in the South, I can't, duck walk my way down to the grocery store wearing a floor-length skirt in my fan. I could do it in New York, but I can't really do it here.
Yeah, you could.
And like, so that's like, but that's that's unique to just my situation. But in general, I have a dark sense of humor. It's hypersexualized. Like, based on like what people have listened and grown to know me to be like, I talk a lot about really taboo shit. And so there's a very rare places for that. So yeah, the more comfortable I am with you, the more I'll like let that bleed into what I say. But if I'm out in public, just walking around, walking my dog, I'm going to come across as vanilla as I possibly can. Not out of choice, just out of, I think, basic ease of conversation. I just don't give anything to latch onto.
Yeah, I think that's my approach too. I try to go I'm a little more, I feel like I'm more myself online, but just kind of like, how do you say it? Like it's a caricature a little bit. It's not a complete change of personality. It's
like,
really,
yeah, you kind of accentuate the things you want to put out for outward,
yeah.
and then like hold to closer to your chest the things that don't necessarily apply, that doesn't cater to that
But
camera,
like
the stream.
the person I was, I don't like the person I was when I was married, and that's why I'm no longer married. But it was really, it was an important interaction yesterday in the middle of my stream. It was a very successful stream last night, and I was so blessed. People were rolling in with rates, and I had a pink wig and my rainbow dress on, and makeup and all this other stuff. And Luke's father did not really message that he was picking, like he usually says, I'm 5 minutes away, can you get him ready? Which is what a considerate person would do. But
yeah, what literally anybody with, yeah.
But anyway,
what is this guy's fucking deal?
I can't.
It's like,
but so I walk out with all my shit on to like, okay, here's the thumb drive for the schoolwork. Here's this, here's that. He's like, oh, hi. Like, as if to be like, you're weird. And I'm like, whatever. And I fucking walked away. Cause I'm like, after last week, the love that was shown, just specifically by my romantic partner to organize something for a month, and also for a friend and someone who's not even met me to like take the time to learn the video editing and put that fucking video together. Like, it just blew my mind. And I'm like, I am worth it. And I'm not weird.
yeah.
Yeah. So
it's so
really
easy for them to say
me.
one thing, and you see like how they see the world. If that's weird to them, they live in such a closed mind. Because it's weird, but like weird, like it's not bad weird. Be weird. Fucking be weird. My God. Don't be a vanilla person. I hate talking to vanilla people. Chatters. Don't be vanilla, please. Like it, not to sound like I'm special in any way. I'm not. But I mean, not okay.
But it has to be within you.
But like, yeah, just like, I don't know. Just I think people like I wish I had I wish I was in a situation where I could be the exact same at 100% all the 100% of the time. So for those who have an opportunity to even be 80% of that weirdness 100% of the time.
Yeah, here I am. I'm in my own fucking home. I'm trying to do a job where, and people like, I've been told you look really beautiful. You look really beautiful. And then to hear that, oh, hi, like as if something were out of the ordinary. I'm like, well, you're in my house, my place of residence. Like, so that was,
this is my space. Yeah. This is my world. And I get to shape exactly what goes on here.
Correct.
And how I look and how I act. And
yeah. And you didn't like me before when I tried to be average vanilla. And so I'm going to do my own thing because doing the other way, it's, I don't know. I think you're just going to let social and romantic gravity work for you. So like, just, do the Twitch, do car building, do, and find the friendships that way. And Discord is kind of a gathering of that, and the VR chats and Twitch, you're finding people with similar interests.
And I definitely want people to know that, like, I think that there's a stigma against like, oh my gosh, you're not exactly the same outside of stream than you are in stream. No one is. I'd argue that really no one is, because a lot of times we use it as an escape from certain things. So if I came in bringing all with me the shit that was keeping me down, it's not like, if I want to keep that separate, and if like I had a real shit day and I come stream and it cheers me up, the fact that I didn't talk about that stuff or left it out doesn't make me fake or anything like that. It's like, we're allowed to be selective. And so guys, for people listening, don't get me wrong, like, I'd love to be this, like, it'd be easier if I could just stay consistent, but like, I think it's healthy to be able to read into yourself enough to like know what you want to express in the moment versus what you don't want to express. And that's not the same as like being fake, putting on a character. Like when you go to stream, you turn it on and you're 1000% fake. I love you when you don't love them. Hi, how are you when you don't remember who they are? That type of shit. Like, don't be super duper fake, but like, you're who you are and how you express it. It's much like sexuality. Like, it can ebb and flow in the mood and the time and the people around you and the company that are around you and how comfortable you are. You shouldn't be pigeonholed, like I said, into being a certain way, and that goes both ways. You shouldn't be pigeonholed into keeping everything bottled up, but you also shouldn't pigeonhole yourself into trying to be this larger than life thing that's exhausting and inappropriate. You can be anywhere within there that pleases you and makes you feel comfortable. I think a lot of times people confuse that with fakeness, because who I am out in the street walking my dog is not identical to who I am on stream, because it doesn't have to be. I don't want it to be.
But you have every right to be. Yeah. I don't want to call it calculated, but you're managing. This is a management of boundaries, and it's
exactly especially, that. Yes. Well said. Management of boundaries. Well said. I love that.
Yeah, because I can't, like, the person I am around my boyfriend is not going to be the same person. Like, to God bless him, he gets the worst of me sometimes, where I'm just like super insecure, and I don't know anybody wants to watch that unless that's your thing. You want to, whatever. But anyways, and it also depends on the goals of your stream. Like Gloop Dog, the goal of his stream is to throw a party and make people happy, and same thing with Weasel. So I've never seen them be like. There was one rare occasion with Gloop and something had happened, but generally he's hosting a party. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that and measure your goals of the community you want to build and the environment you want to portray on your stream, and just kind of run with that. I mean, there's no formula,
that. And like from the other side too, I love that you said that, because the boundaries that come along with that too. Like, if let's, like I'm sure that the reason why you and Liddy work is because you can also have a boundary between the two of you, where like the way you are together, and then if you need to go off and be you and do something, he respects that. That's your thing. You need that space. You need to be that individual in that moment. And so even from like a friendship standpoint, don't forget that people are allowed to have those boundaries. As we have learned through this now online lifestyle of communicating with people exclusive through things like Discord, if they don't send you a message immediately back and you see the little thing that says they're playing this game that you have, doesn't immediately mean they hate you and that they never want to play with you again.
But I've had those moments. I've had those moments with Brian, Liddy.
Where you're like, oh my God, like what did I do wrong?
Why does really attached girlfriend?
But like we all want to be that, we all want to be like, why didn't they come to me to ask me if I want to play, or if I want to chat, or why haven't I heard back from them in a day? And like our mind immediately goes to, they hate me, what did I do wrong? Oh my God. And then you're like, well, if they think this about me or they did that, then I'm gonna go do this. And then meanwhile they like, it has nothing to do with you. Work ran late for them. They left the game open from last night and they're not playing it. They wanted to play alone. They didn't want to play with you, and that's okay. Whatever the situation is, to remember that those boundaries need to be respected. And just because somebody put up a boundary doesn't mean they like you any less or they want to disrespect you. On the contrary, they respect you enough to know when they want to let you in and when they don't. And that's, so you got to, match them with that. I think the word boundary, that'd be the word of the day. I feel
boundary.
Like today.
Okay, I'm going to put up a text box here in just a second. That was what we were holding on to for the entire podcast. The word of the day.
Word of the day.
Boundaries.
Boundary. This show brought to you by the letter B for boundary.
Well, there was a really interesting circumstance with Liddy in particular. It was in the middle of all the shit that went down in December and January in particular, and I was in a caged animal mode, which is not normal for me. And sometimes it's a moving target for what jokes land and what jokes do not land. And in particular, this time the joke did not land, and it had to do with Mello, actually. And it was nothing Mello did in particular. She's just a brilliant, beautiful human being and a beautiful singer. And here we go. I'm going to put this right here. Boundaries. And he had made a joke, like, because there was something I had made a joke about, most likely to steal Pashley, most likely to steal Liddy. And I don't remember what the context was. But anyway, he's like, oh, Mellow Mermaid, most likely to steal Liddy. And at that moment, remember that whole night we were all in the hot tub there, like way back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah, and Mello was in there, and then he had said that, and I was like, right now I'm a caged animal, and this is not landing right now. Like,
aw, but that's okay.
But
it's like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just, but we had you have to like communicate that stuff gently and as gently as possible, like.
Because I could, like it there's so many moving parts, and like being able to ground yourself into being like, okay, well they said like in a situation equivalent to that, like the person said something not with the intention of hurting you, but
Correct.
like with a completely other, like unrelated to you. Like I have no like it wasn't to do anything for you. Like it was separate, and it just happened to cross into the, I wouldn't. I'm
It's the
gonna use the word
equivalent of, like,
insecurities,
yeah.
but that's like a very harsh word. But like it sometimes crosses into our, as a general people, our insecurities. Like I have a fear of being alone, of not being like, that type of stuff. So when I see a friend going off and doing something and I'm not included, FOMO, and that breaks right into my, my fear of missing out. And sometimes that overrides my respect of their boundaries. So I would push in. I would reach out. I would be like, I'd try and guilt me like, why, why didn't you invite me? Blah 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 blah. When it breaks when it breaks into that insecurity level is when everything else bleeds out, and you start to let your insecurities override the respect of their boundaries. And that's, as a culprit of that, as somebody who's that, we all do it to each other, and then we all get it done to us. It's growth, it's how we, and then eventually, like, you learn and you rise above it, and then that's when the friendships or the relationship sticks, is when, like, you no longer look at the things that they're doing and
Yeah.
assume it has anything to do with you all the time.
But there has to be a trust that the space will be held when the conversation has to happen. Like with, there's things in my past with like sexual abuse, and there are very clear reasons why I get triggered by shit like that. And so and now Brian is aware, because like, here is what happened to me when I was very little. And there was an incident, like, a couple weeks ago when I was in New Jersey, and it was again with his roommate, and his roommate did not intend to what happened. And I wasn't even, it was the weirdest thing. Like, the trigger went off and I was scared. It was caged animal mode again.
Yeah.
And finally, so I got to my place, like I went and sat in my car, and he was sitting with me, and I'm like, this is something that this individual did to me in this situation of abuse. And we both just cried it out. We're like, oh my God, So you don't just like say, fuck you, you hurt me. You get to like stick around and really dig in with it. It's,
Yeah.
It's a scary thing.
When I was living when I was living in New York, maybe a year or two after I'd moved there, I ran it. Yeah, there was somebody. I experienced sexual assault to the most extreme degree. I've always verbalized this very poorly, so I apologize.
It's tough.
But anyways, so to the most extreme degree, and so I fast forward to when I moved here to Georgia, and I wanted to go to TwitchCon this year, right? So me and this group of friends who I no longer associate with, for reasons that rebounded off of this. This was the seed, and it exploded out of this. So because of that, I have hard time sharing an intimate space with people. Not like sleeping. I can't. It's really hard to spend the night. Like when you undergo something like that, it's really hard to like sleep in a room with somebody. Like go to sleep and let your guard down, and you're in the room with somebody. So when we were planning around TwitchCon, we were gonna book like a house, and so when we were going to book it, I expressed that like if we do plan it, I'd love if we can plan a place that's big enough where like I don't have to sleep on the floor again,
right?
So I can have like a room, just for my own privacy, my own comfortability. From a financial standpoint, I can understand why that could be a little bit to ask. That's a little bit of a stretch. That means we have to find a place that has one more room. But instead of trying to find a solution, what happened was they booked the house by cutting me out of it, and then they told me I wasn't gonna stay there.
Nice.
And then the person who told me that said that it was because people were afraid of me, that they were uncomfortable, and that I was distant in that sort of regard. And then everything rebounded off of that. Obviously, that broke my trust with them, and then things were never the same, and now I'm no longer associated with that group of friends. And I'm okay about all that. I don't give a fuck, especially because Twitch got canceled, so they can fuck themselves. But that, like that's that discussion to like I didn't want to dive into all the details. I didn't want to have to like dive so deep into it to justify to them why I felt the way that I did.
Yeah.
And like it sucks that I got punished for it, you know? So those situations, like when it's kind of, it happens and it's unintentional, but then you were the only ones who suffer from the things that happen afterwards, sucks, even if it was never their intention.
Right.
And like we're left in the dust kind of trying to pick up the pieces. It sucked. It sucks so much,
But
like to
it's-
not see it coming, and then all of a sudden something that you didn't realize was going to trigger you or come back and affect you, it does out of nowhere.
But having that
So-
kindness in your heart, when it's finding the way to get yourself into safety, you calm the like there's the reptilian brain, which is like your very basic brain, and then you have like the fight or flight. But then we evolved, and we have like we have the gray matter, and the brain
Yeah.
has since evolved, and we have reason, we have
Which was regarded a bad move. I'd rather just keep it simple, fight or flight.
just bite someone's head off or fuck them.
Yeah, I'll just
right?
either. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying. Let me bite you and then I'll fuck you, or other way around.
The Black Widow.
This is something I wrote down in my little stand-up. Look,
It's there.
fuck them, kill them, fuck them, then kill them,
Something
kill them,
like
then
that.
fuck them. That's people's got their thing. Like that's all that. Those are all kinks that exist, and it's not even the most extreme of kinks.
Mm-hmm. It's like the people who like getting slapped and stuff like that. I'm not one of those people.
I'm slowly becoming one of those people. Okay. Here's why, though. I don't think this is normally why. So I'm intrigued by the idea of like pain thresholds. Like, so when, like, I think it all stemmed from when I was actually getting that eye surgery and I was getting needles in my eye. I was like, how much pain can I take? Because
Mhm.
that's a lot. And so, do you know the point of like climax, right? Your body's
Yeah.
capable of like
Le Petit
all of your
Mort.
like everything's you're capable of like getting punched, like, and you don't until you come. I mean, you'll feel it after you come down off of that, like, off the endorphins. But in that moment, I love to see how far I can. This is so bad. I should not be talking about this.
Should we
I don't
cut
do
you-
anything dangerous. It's like I pinch myself, and you can like almost bring yourself to like breaking the skin. It's like that
Yeah.
shit. It's like why
Mhm.
people love being, scratched and bit and like, just that type of shit. It's not weird. It's actually not extreme in the grand scheme of kinks, but I think a lot of people like they love. I just like the idea of it. And I don't employ it even, like I don't ever have the opportunity to, but I'm intrigued by the idea of how far you can take that. And it's probably, now that I'm saying it, emotional baggage
Mhm.
off of trauma to see how much pain I can endure. I
Now
should
that's
definitely
like
bring that up with my
Sophie's Choice.
therapist.
So
Yeah.
if you've ever seen that movie, I'm not going to repeat the events of it, but there is this female character who's constantly punishing herself because of events that had happened.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that is definitely a thing. People like to re-traumatize
Yeah.
themselves.
I hope people don't find me uncomfortable that I'm like working through this in my brain. I don't intend to make anybody uncomfortable or overshare, but it's just kind of where my brain's at. I think that's something that I
You'd
do.
be
I just
surprised how
don't-
many people are experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's but intrigued. I don't know. I figured because that way people feel less like they're on the fringe or something, the fray of society, or like what they're into or what they feel is really weird, because odds are there's somebody around you who's in the same boat and are looking for the person who understands that deeper part.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it's like that. That people are always so afraid of like and I know I'm keeping this is super sexualized, but I don't mean it's not the sexual aspect. It's like that dating app. I forget what it's called. I never used it. Or so like you fill out a form, right? And it only and you like list all of your kinks, and it only
Mhm.
shares the ones you guys have in common. Have you heard about this?
No. What?
So like you like it's kind of like it's like Tinder. So you match up with somebody
Mhm.
and you list all your kinks, and then it only shows the ones you have in common, so you don't share one you don't want to you don't want to share, right?
Right.
Like if you were really into BDSM and they weren't, you didn't want them to know, like, or
Right.
rather you didn't want to introduce it right off the bat, right? You can like that exists, and it's like that concept of like making people feel less like they're a freak. because odds are somebody's into, or even on a non-sexual way. Like that's why people are so quick to judge. Like if you're into, I always use Yu-Gi-Oh as as an example. If you're really fucking into Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't care how old you are or what you do, it's so okay to be into something that brings you joy, a
Yeah.
hobby, because the world is so fucking dark
Wearing a
and there's so
pink
much
wig
bad
and
shit
a
going on.
rainbow dress and singing in front of people.
Yes,
Like let people be happy.
Be happy. Like I don't like. I mean, people are so fast to like shit on. I mean, this may be polarizing. I do not partake in this. But the whole My Little Pony thing.
I was
there's
into
no
those
harm
as a
in it,
kid.
if there's no harm in it, like who are people to sit around and be like they shouldn't be doing that? I don't know. Let them enjoy. Come on. I mean,
You're
if
not hurting anybody.
there's a line for any type of like enjoyment of a hobby or anything where it crosses into obsession and
Cooking
it becomes
crystal meth. Come on. That's
yeah. Don't,
now you're over the line.
once a day. Like whether it is, if it is Yu-Gi-Oh, like there's a point of unhealthy addiction where you're like you can't afford groceries because you're buying cards, but whatever, like you don't want it to ever anything to cross in that point. But otherwise, to the point where like if it's still in that harmless arena, you gotta find the little sparks of happiness where you can, to like you can't be holding back all that joy inside. People are really afraid.
Lord DSB says, as long as you don't use the little pony to transport.
Wait, what?
So you're not trying to use you're not trying to ride to work on the little pony or try to do something
To transport
beyond
I thought this is how little I know. I thought it was like, is one of the pony's powers to teleport? Is there?
there
Do they
might
have
be
powers? Is it like?
I just remember
they have
having a
powers?
box that was the toy box that I remember very vividly. It was shaped like a school bus for some fucking reason, but I had like a whole thing of them. That was like for my son, it was the Thomas the Tank Engine trains, but with me, it was the My Little Pony ponies.
Oh, I collected all the Thomas Tank. I still love my little Hot Wheel cars, but yeah, I don't even know how we got onto that topic, but like, I mean, we dive
Hobbies.
Hobbies, like people just find that shit, even if it makes you weird. Like you're allowed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We give you permission to enjoy it
To suck
and not be afraid of it. Yeah, you have the legal right to suck me, chat. So there, we didn't say it yet tonight.
So just I'm always pushing this love yourself motif on my stream, and no matter how fucking weird you are, if loving yourself means you need to be awful to other people, rethink what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But
Stop. Get help. Have you seen that meme?
yes.
So guys, like, stop. Get help. Yeah. If your hobby, there's a lot of deeper issues there that you need to revisit. It's not like seeing others in turmoil.
Don't traumatize other people.
No, don't project that shit. Yeah.
No.
But other than that, yeah, bask in the enjoyment of the things that make you happy.
Yeah.
If you manage to find it, because there's so many reasons to be unhappy. So if you, you need to be like, people need
Hold
to be
on to the
comfortable with
happiness when you
themselves
can.
and happy with themselves to give into those little things.
So, yeah, it's so vitally important to be more focused on, not in the way where you neglect, your duty in a community, so to speak, but to be more in love with yourself and your beauty. I like to take baths at night. I love the Hunger Games, and my boyfriend is sick of watching the Hunger Games before bed, so we don't do that right now. But love those things, and you're not weird. Enhance others'
No.
lives, yeah, not to your own detriment. Obviously, know your boundaries. Boundaries. There's that word again. So,
Yes, know your exactly. No,
boundaries.
and it's hard sometimes, but yeah, if you have the personal awareness to set those boundaries for yourself. Like, I love Hot Wheel cars. If I spent $1,000 on Hot Wheel cars, then I couldn't afford rent, so I can't do that. And I
You
know
can't
that my
feed your
boundary
child.
can never ever get to that point. Not that it would, but as an example, that's you got to keep that in mind. But other than that, yeah. I don't know.
Life
And
is
then
life.
let the people who judge shit for that, let them live in their world of hate. They can suck it. They can legally suck me.
I agree.
Send them to my way. They can suck me. I'll take care of them for you.
Or they'll take care of you by saying that anyway.
Oh yeah, they better.
So what do you think? What do you think? Are you good to raid?
Yeah, I think we put a nice exclamation point on this. I think a raid would be the logical next step. Let me take a look. Who are you thinking? Anybody
I
in
was
mind?
thinking Doc McStreamy. She's not on a whole lot,
Okay, I'm down for that.
but I love her, and I think she's experimenting with like new. Swear to fucking God, Tiny. I don't know if you heard that through my headphones.
I did. I heard it through your headphones. What happened?
God damn it! It was a T-Rex thing. Well, now that we know. Oh, Doc is ending. Good to know, Zick. Good to know.
All right, let me take a look at my little handy dandy Twitch app.
I mean,
here.
I did pick the raid last week, so it's kind of your turn. It doesn't even have to be Twitch things, obviously. Chat, you can
see.
participate. I may not.
Let's raid this whore Princess Pashley.
Yeah, fuck that cunt.
Yeah,
She totally, you know.
yeah. It'll be
Attention.
yeah, exactly. We'll raid her just to make fun of her in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do. We could do Toasty. She's on. I haven't rated her in forever.
Toasty, like IE. Toasty.
Yeah.
She's playing
Toasty.
Among Us right now.
Yeah, should we?
Yeah,
or should we
sure.
go for somebody smaller?
We could go for like
Mike's not
Tyler
doing a lot of
Levs.
that, or-
Speaking of
Yeah,
music
I
and
know
performing.
Tyler Lev.
Yeah, wait, let's get Tyler
Let's
Levs
do it.
music.
Let's do Tyler Levs. I'm down for that.
Yeah, sorry,
He's doing Among Us
DSP.
too. He's doing a vocal rest day. This is actually good for people to understand.
Mm-hmm. And plus,
that
he's
it's
really
okay
good
to
at
branch.
looping.
Huh?
He's really good at looping. Like I have so much
Yeah.
admiration for him.
So let me get my raid calls out here. Guys, show your love to Tyler Levs. If you don't know who he is, he's an incredible singer, songwriter. He does music streams like every day for like all day. Like he's got stamina for days.
Mm-hmm.
And he works extremely hard learning. He has like hundreds of songs in his repertoire. So you got to respect his grind. So show him the love that you show us. I know he'll really, really appreciate it. Him and I
We'll
share the same
support him.
first name, so
Exactly.
you know he's special.
And he's also one of the sweetest individuals in the world. Like period. End
He's
of
very
story.
kind. He's
Yeah.
very kind.
He and Joliet are actually releasing some music in the next.
I saw.
Yeah. I'm super.
I'm
They've been
jealous.
teasing it, and I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. But
That's gonna be cool to watch out for.
amazing. But thank
So
you
yeah,
all
guys,
for being
boundaries.
Here. Boundaries. Keep your boundaries.
Keep your boundaries, but like respect your own boundaries. Keep yourself safe. It's okay to understand where your limits are. Hi, puppy. He knows
There
we're
goes
ending.
puppy.
He's like, all right,
All right,
walk
time for food. Time for food.
Yeah, he's like dinner, walkies. I had a lot of fun. This was awesome.
Me too. Well, we'll have to
feel
get
very
more
therapeutic.
music streamers on. I really
We will.
Really like that.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe we get Tyler Lives on here. That could be fun. That could be a good
Yeah,
idea.
He's a great guy. He's
Let's
a
shoot
really
him a
great
message.
guy.
Mine's about to hit the countdown. So if you do you want to
yeah.
synchronize?
Ready? We'll go 3, 2, 1. Adios, amigos.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.